All right, everybody, welcome back to episode 12 of the Unpaid and Underrated podcast, the podcast about Crü for Crü and relentlessly mocked on Discord by the rest of Crü. I am Big Joey,
I'm Big Keith.
and we are joined by Big Steve this week.
Howdy.
How we doing, buddy?
Oh, not so bad.
The best part about Big Steve is I can almost see his house from my house.
Well, I saw, according to Big Kevin's map, I might call shenanigans on that because you were like 2 inches away on that little map.
2 inches matters.
Yeah, that's what she said.
I sure hope so.
And you were worried you wouldn't fit right in here.
Yeah. All right. I mean, we should dive right in. We should dive right in, guys?
I'm actually excited for what are we drinking because I got a new one this week. I went to Trader Joe's on the way home. They have the really good rosemary chicken that I just wanted because I need something quick and easy for lunch. And I was like, ooh, let me check out what they have for carbonated water. And I got like 5 or 6 new ones to try over the next month. Tonight, oh shit, now it's stuck in my koozie, my Mesonomic Strong and Silly koozie. But
so the purple koozie we need to talk about.
Okay.
Yeah, because that thing's tighter than Scrooge's pockets. That thing is insane. I can't get my cans out without smashing them.
Yeah, but just think of the insulation properties, though.
True. But yeah. I got a lime hop water. So is this actually made of hops? Is this because we know Big Keith still doesn't know what hops is? So is it the same thing or is hop water the brand?
No, it's gonna be hops. So it's gonna taste like
It'd be gross, huh? Okay.
Yeah, it's not gonna I don't see that being good.
Bottoms up. Lime hop water, Big Keith.
Grab it in you.
It's interesting. It
So
tastes
what
like
plan B?
It's like a fucking Poland Springs water. I mean, I've had worse. It almost tastes like a beer. I guess that's the gist, because that's what hops is.
It's like a lime beer?
I guess. I don't know. It's different. It doesn't taste like a beer, but it doesn't taste like it's not a LaCroix or a bubbly. It's different. I've definitely had worse though. So I don't know. It's a 5 on the glaze scale, maybe.
Out of 5?
Sounds like a perfect beverage.
5 out of 10 on the glaze scale. If we're on JD Powers or Apple Pie Pods, it's probably a 2.5.
Well, I'll swing by Trader Joe's on my next trip to New York because it's the best place to go besides Target and the liquor store. I'm drinking a Keith's. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm just drinking a Keith's. I have some PC sparkling water here to celebrate Steve being here. And Steve, what do you got?
Well, I've got myself a LaCroix hibiscus.
Yeah.
And it's actually quite nice. And for plan B, when that goes dry, we got ourselves a PC sparkling cola.
That sparkling cola is top tier. Like, I'll tell you.
Sparkling cola water, not just it's not a pop.
Yeah, I do want to try that. I don't care what brand it is. I want to try some kind of sparkling water cola. The only ones I've seen are on Amazon, and they're like fucking $30 for like a 6-pack or something. And I'm not doing that. But
as far as I go, you could do worse than this one.
Yeah, I've yet to see anything local that was like that type of genre. But I keep my eyes out.
Well, the PC, they got their ginger ale, they got their cola. I've got a root beer, and they've got the cranberry ginger ale too. And it's all just top tier. Like it's next level. I think I've never gotten less than a 4 whenever I send in.
If I may add something to that, though, they're top tier when you open them. If you leave them for more than an hour, they go flat immediately somehow.
I don't think I can drink sparkling water longer than an hour.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever opened one and didn't finish it in like 7 minutes.
Yeah, that's going to be left as wife water if I don't drink it.
Yeah, they're not for dabblers.
You guys know wife water, right?
I'm assuming that's just anything you don't drink, Morgan will drink after the fact, or she just dump it out. Like, I don't.
No, wife water is the series of unopened sparkling waters or unfinished sparkling waters left all over the house by your wife.
Okay. Yeah, that's mine does that. She's the worst with that. But I legit so I guess I take that back. I will drink old sparkling waters, but they're hers. Like the next day. You just gotta make sure she didn't fucking put like her discarded hair in it, which I've done a couple times and caught. And I'm like, oh, what the fuck? Because I'm like, it's half full. It should not be a hair receptacle at that point, but it's got me a couple times.
Yeah, I mean, like, what's the worst case scenario? It becomes water. Okay, it's not bad. I mean, broken escalator becomes stairs. I mean, put in some work.
Yeah, it's a good way to put her.
It's no longer spicy water. What shirts you guys wearing?
I'm rocking out one of my new Christmas presents. The ouch, everything hurts. It actually fits now because I got the right size for my broad body. So yeah, knocking out some 2X shirts. I got a plethora of 2X shirts for Christmas, so I'm kind of stoked about that.
Yeah, I'm rocking the powerlifting blue ribbon shirt today.
Very
Nice.
nice.
And bust that one out for a special occasion.
I didn't get that one, but
I didn't love how it fit personally. It had a bigger neck than I was comfortable with.
Yeah, it fits a little bit differently than some of the other ones, but I suppose that's been discussed enough.
Yeah, a little bit. I think we've
talk about
drugged
the
that horse.
blanks.
Yeah.
I'm
They
wearing
go
one.
hard right off the rip.
I'm actually wearing one from Deadlift Till I'm Dead. Our friend Jenny. It says Feral Dilf,
Hmm.
and I thought that was fucking
Oh, that
hilarious.
is
So,
good.
and I wore it pink too, just to make sure it bothers the right people.
That's reasonable. I'd chase you down.
That's good stuff.
All right, so I wanted to talk about the Crü Christmas checklist
Oh yeah.
because I think that there was a very common theme for a lot of us. So yes, I got a Massonomic shirt. I got the Strong and Silly shirt. Yes, I got the koozie because I forgot to order that when I did my order. Yes, I got barefoot shoes. No, I didn't get any ammonia, but I think, that's always on the list as well. So I was just wondering if you guys got any of the checklisted Massonomics Crü Christmas presents.
To be fair, I don't think I'm overly familiar with the checklist, but I did get weights and Massonomics clothes, so I got that going for me.
Now the
There you go.
Massonomics clothes are on the checklist.
Oh yeah, I've got let's see, yeah, I've got three or four shirts. I did get barefoot shoes. I didn't know those were coming or not. She definitely picked up on my hint and did order those. First impressions, they were not as wide as I would like at first, but by the time I got done working out, like an hour later, because my right foot is a solid like third, it's 10 to 15% wider than my left foot. Like no matter what shoe I wear, like my right foot like hurts in that shoe, and the left
Mm.
foot's fine. So immediately my right foot was like rubbing the sidewalls. But after wearing them for a couple hours, the right did seem to break in. I'm gonna wear it a few more times before I give it my 100% seal of approval. But so far so good.
Hey, rubbing the sidewalls is my go-to move.
Well, you just yeah, no, I was gonna say something about how you can seldom do both of them at the same time. You're usually just hitting one side and then the other
Yeah.
side. You're not
The
really.
other side will come on in. Yeah, I just thought it was funny that just everybody was like, "Oh, I got a
Yeah,
Massonomic shirt and barefoot shoes," and then like I think three or four of us were all like, "We all got Massonomic shirts and barefoot shoes."
yeah.
Now,
So
now I got so Morgan ordered from the Blemish pile, and I wonder if the Blemish is a misprint in size because my 8.5s in my Hobie Bear and in my Ursus Salmons fit wonderfully, but somehow the 8.5 in whatever she got me does not fit at all.
hmm.
So also,
Perhaps
I just wonder,
your salmon ones could just be also broken in. Maybe they'll get better with
yeah,
time.
that's kind of what I'm thinking. Is I'm gonna pound through these and or just demolish them in squats. Just I'm gonna squat one day in these shoes and just pop some shoes, pop the taint, pop some shoes.
Yeah, I got a funny one. I ended up so I added a few grip attachments to my Amazon wish list because I've been people have been buying me stuff on Amazon for Christmas for years. So I've like run out of shit to put on there. So I'm like resorted to like some new stuff. So I was like, well, what's something I can get for the gym that I don't have? It's like, well, a lot of my buddies are really into grip stuff, but I don't really have any grip training other than my blobs and some grippers. So I was like, let me just get a loading pin and three or four attachments, and it's easy enough. It'd be like $100 max. So I think I got three or four different attachments as presents, but then no one got me the loading pin. So here I've got three attachments. So I ended up getting one off Carp. Carp had a couple extra ones lying around, so I just paid him shipping. He's gonna send me one up. So I got that coming in the mail. So I should be able to do my grip training next week whenever that shows up. So I just got a kick out of that because I kept being like, oh yeah, this is gonna go with what's left under the tree. And then like I got to my last present and I was like, well fuck, I still don't have a loading pin. What the shit? But they didn't know any better. It's like that was like I think my parents got me one of the attachments, my wife got me one of the attachments, and my in-laws got me one of the attachments. So like everyone, I don't think they even knew what the other one what the loading pin was, but I
Yeah,
just thought it was funny
I
that
don't even know what a loading pin is. Like
what's the
and
thing
I
that
have a gym.
you should you have the Denny Stone rings, right?
Yeah, they're the pieces
Or
that the
the
weights go on.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I was gonna
So
So
say,
whenever.
then we'll bring
ha-
our Denny. I'll bring my Denny rings next time I come. Next time, the
yeah.
first time that me and Steve jump in our cars and head down to your place.
We got Nate said he was only 4 hours away, so we got to talk him. I really do want to do a crew meetup up here. We'll try to get like 6 or 7 crew to actually
Won't
come
be hard.
over.
We can get Kevin.
Yep.
Probably get Keegan. Won't be hard.
We get a handful of us.
I didn't get any other gym stuff, so I have been investigating. Today I was investigating which deadlift bar I'm gonna get.
Well,
And I know.
my
Go ahead.
work company was nice enough to get me one for Christmas.
Yes. Yeah,
Oh,
that's a fun
nice.
story. Go ahead. Because
Uh,
your story goes into mine, so go ahead.
oh, okay. Well, I was looking around Black Friday for deadlift bars, and I saw a Canadian company there, Strong Arm Sport. Saw the review by Brandon there, and it was pretty good. Thought, hey, the price is right. Might as well try it out. My work has a program too, where it's a health and fitness program. If you have a gym membership or if you want to buy fitness equipment or whatever, you get a certain amount back per year. And so I bought a bar on Black Friday and submitted my receipt. The next week, I had most of that money back.
Yeah, that's pretty
Yeah.
dope. So I was looking at your power bar or the deadlift bar that you got, and I was comparing to getting a Texas deadlift. And I'll tell you, the cost is less than $100 difference between the two.
Yeah,
So
maybe today.
yeah, no, yeah. So I definitely I messaged Brandon and I said like, what would you suggest? And he kind of leaned me towards Texas. So I'm probably going to order the Texas deadlift bar.
Yeah, I would say at only $100 difference, and you probably could have if you jumped on that during Black Friday. Texas had a really good sales, or they had like $50 or $70 off everything one
Fuck.
week, and then another time was just free shipping. But yeah, if you can get that door, if you can get that bar to your house for under $500, I'd jump on that.
So
Yeah, like
it would be about over 500. So ordering the one from Strong Arm after shipping and everything is around 500.
this cost me 320, so it was a pretty good deal.
Yeah,
Okay.
then I'm getting hosed because it's like three something plus shipping. After that, it's gonna end up being about 495.
Yeah, I think
And
this
that
was around
CAD.
320 bucks Canadian, which is what, like $200 in freedom bucks?
Yep. But I can get the Texas Power Bar, the Texas Deadlift Bar for 495.
Yeah, no,
So,
all things being equal, including price, I'd probably go with Texas every day. But
Yeah,
and
it's got
then
my.
we can just share. I'll just bring mine and you bring yours.
I dig it.
I looked at the Kabuki. Fuck that.
Yeah, they're a
And
lot
same
more
with the
expensive.
Rogue. Same with the Rogue Ohio. F that. That amount.
Well,
Like, because that's what my meats always use is the Kabuki.
hmm
And I ain't got time for that cost. Like that's so much. But I do want a whippy bar.
Texas would be good. I mean, there definitely is you can feel the difference between Texas and Kabuki, but is it enough to justify? Because I don't know if the Kabuki cost you like $1,000 to get with all the
It's
imports and all
about
that.
that.
Yeah,
It's about
yeah,
that.
no, I think I paid like 600 when it came out for mine, and I probably wouldn't pay a penny more. So, but I mean, a deadlift bar is a deadlift bar as long as you don't have Paul Floss's Rogue Ohio deadlift bar, which is stiffer than shit. So, any other bar than that, you'll be in good shape.
I think I just sneezed my eyeballs out. That fucking sucked.
Speaking of bar reviews, I know it just came out today, but either of you get a chance to watch the YouTube video that Tommy and Tanner put out?
I did. They're practically giving that one away. Was that about $2,000 up here?
Oh God, yeah, 1,200, 1,200 for us, and
Plus
I'm
shipping.
curious because so that's coming from like you're not buying that from an American distributor; it's literally coming from overseas too. So I don't know if you get hurt as bad as we do, or is it the same? I'm curious because it's not like it's coming to America and then coming to you. It should come directly from fucking was it Sweden or
Which
whatever? Yeah,
which bar? Is that the
yeah,
Alico?
yeah, the Eleiko
Yeah.
$1,200 power bar.
I'm sure they send it to Australia first, so that way the shipping is twice the price.
Doesn't Big Jess have like an entire Alico gym? Like in her garage where all the
Probably.
crackheads keep breaking in?
I do remember hearing about that. But yeah, that was a fun video. They literally gave me like a minute notice, I think, to record it. Well, I think they might have told me a little bit earlier, but then like not really sure what it was going to be. So I knew there were going to be a video, but it was like I think it was like right after the lifting session they had to kind of mentioned it. So that was a very abrupt kind of thing. But I had a good time. I was talking to my wife about it. I was like, I would not have been comfortable enough doing that recording, like even 2 years ago, or even like maybe last year. Like in the last 2 years or so, between like starting my gym's Instagram and going to Home Gym Con and doing a bunch of podcasts with Garage Gym Experiment and everything crew related and the Arnold and Live Hard Live Easy, like just and obviously our podcast, like I'm so came out of my shell in the last couple years. Like if I had to like the thought of being on a YouTube video like 2 years ago, I would have just been like, nah, I'm good. But I don't know. I'm
Yeah,
just
I mean, you had me fooled. It looked like you knew what you were talking about.
well, we're trying. Fake it till you make it, right?
The joke is he does that every week. And then
Like
he
almost
puts it
like
on
he's
the
getting there.
glaze search.
That which the updated Nate is ever evolving that damn thing.
I'm I'm worried about Nate at this
I
rate because like he started the thing and then it was like, oh, I made a shortcut for Apple. Oh, now I have a domain. Oh, now you can share the rating and it'll include and like every day he's like giving us updates. I'm like, dude, are you okay? Are you like
Creating a monster over there,
like you're so focused on this glaze search?
trying to take over or trying to take on Google.
Like are,
I mean,
are you
somebody has
still
to, I
are you
guess.
still eating? Do I need to like send somebody down to check on you?
Yeah, I kind of asked him how much time he invested, and he said outside of like the initial, writing everything, it hasn't been too bad. It's just been little tweaks he's able to do very quick from his phone, I guess. So
How
I
many
don't know.
people does the pizza need to feed?
Yeah. And I have one question though, Keith, about your glaze ratings.
Oh man,
Do you copy and paste all of them?
what do you mean?
So a lot of the ratings I see are the same. Your fives are dumb, mad I wasted my time. Your
Oh
sixes
no no
are
no
not
that's
mad I
that's
watched it.
I'm not typing those out at all. That was a one time. Nate basically asked me to put into text a correlation on my 1 to 10 scale.
Oh, okay.
I am not typing those out. That was just like I had like I spent 5 minutes typing that up max. So I had like
Okay.
minimal to no investment in that, and it was just off the top of my head. So no, I that's why they're generic because it's just literally a five is always going to say the same sentence, a six is always going
Yeah.
to say the same sentence. So
I was wondering because I thought that that would be really silly for you to like have a
oh no,
like a
that's way
copy
too
and
much effort.
pasted thing to do.
No.
Okay, good. All right, yeah, that makes way more. Because at first
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna
No.
rip on him for this, but I'm gonna ask him about it
No.
first in public.
That's funny. Yeah. You're good. No, that's funny. No, but he got a kick out of that, and I was just trying to like, how can I like put in? How can I? Because really, it's all fucking fake. It's like it's all bullshit. But like, how do you correlate what a five and a six and a seven is? So like, and you have to have it just be a little bit different and like show progression and regression depending on which way you're going. So I thought it was kind of funny, and I don't know how to make it really put it into layman's terms better than I did.
All right. So you added two things here.
Yeah.
I want to hear about your strongman update.
So I did sign up for the competition.
Hell yeah.
That is literally like the 6th of January. So I'm going on like a 10-day prep. I'm not even really doing a prep. I'm just going to do a couple event days and that's it. And then go into it. So last Friday I went to the local strongman gym. Fucking $20 day pass. I thought that was a little outrageous, but I mean, I guess I'm paying $10 to go to a regular gym for a day pass. So 20 for a specialized powerlifting / strongman gym. I guess it's normal. I just was like, damn.
Yeah, 18 of those are for insurance reasons.
All right. So I live near Pure Muscle and Fitness, and most people should know. Steve, do you know what Pure Muscle is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Their weekly pass is something like $200.
Jesus.
Like it's funny that you're like $20, and I was like, I would fucking beg for a $20 day pass to half the gyms around here.
That's why I guess that just kind of dates me. Like, I mean, I go on, well, the 5 or 6 times I use a public gym is when I'm on the road for work, and it's usually
Mhm.
10. I mean, I maybe paid $20 once, but nonetheless, it was worth it just getting in there. So I did some axle training, some log training. I was able to lift the comp weight on the log easy. I could not clean the comp weight on the axle. It was only 165, but I was like at 145, I couldn't get it. I think I was able to get 145, but at 155 I couldn't get it, or maybe I could only get 135. I don't know. But that was literally like day one with like minimal instruction, like Chris, who's done it for like 2 months, giving me some direction, and then a couple
Mhm.
guys kind of walking by, giving me their 2 cents. But like everyone's directions contradicted the other person's directions, and I'm like, very analytical and trying to process all the information. And I'm like, well, he said this, but then they said that. And I'm like, what the fuck? So
So you know who to reach out to.
Scance gave me Scance was giving me
Scance
some
and
pointers and
Scott.
yeah,
Reach out to Big Hot.
yeah. But I was able
Man's throwing sandfield kegs around like they're nothing.
to, but I'm gonna do that that's like 10 days from now or so. As long as I can get at least one rep on everything, I think I'll be happy. I don't think I'm able to lift the Husafelt. The Husafelt's like 220. And like I tried to lift up like 150 and couldn't break the ground with it, but I don't know if it was just form or the fact I was burned out. So I don't know if I'm gonna get the Husafelt, but every it's like the second one in a back-to-back event, so I can at least do the farmers carries. And if I can't get the Husafelt, I just take a scratch in that one.
Yeah, oddly
Uh
with the Husafeld, it's more about mobility than strength. Like you got to be able to get it right close to you, right?
Yeah, you got
yeah.
to get down and in, right? It's a metal. It's probably a metal
Oh
Husafell
yeah,
too.
yeah.
It's not a stone. It's a shield.
Yeah, and then the stones. I haven't even attempted the stone yet, but that's a meat day problem,
Is
I
that
guess.
Atlas stones?
Yeah, it's Atlas stones over the bar.
And
And
have you ever lifted an Atlas stone?
once, but it was like 50 pounds, and it was like 10 years ago. So
Don't
basically,
it
no.
it won't be there on meat day. Go play with those. Don't bust your
Yeah.
bicep, man. Don't fuck up
I
your biceps.
I also have no.
Yeah,
I
you
have.
can't just
I,
brute force and ignorance those. It's definitely
yeah. But I'll like unlike like I have an ego in powerlifting, but in strongman I won't have an ego. I'll just be like, I'll take a scratch. Like I don't care. Like I already
No,
talked to the guy.
but
He said I could.
they're not that hard. I got Megan Stone when we were at the Massnomics gym. She walked in for her workout and I was like,
Yeah.
"Hey, congratulations on your meet yesterday. Can you show me stones?" And I think I actually ruined her entire workout, but like she gave all of us, I think there was 10 of us there, including like Grant and everybody, uh and she gave us like lessons on the stones. So
Yeah, I might go out tomorrow and train with them there, but I have like I have my lift party tomorrow night, but then my buddy was training events in the morning and I was like, I don't want to go spend $20 to train events to then still have to like do my powerlifting session that night. So we'll see. But I don't know, it'll be fun. A little tidbit after that, I basically all these guys are like 10 to 20 10 to 15 years younger than me. So they went to fucking play laser tag and go to the bars afterwards. So, and I did go out and do the laser tag just because like I wanted to be social. I've never been, I haven't been social locally. And like I literally spent thousands of dollars to go hang out with my friends and go out when I'm fucking in different
in South
states.
Dakota.
But like I can't figure out a way to like go hang out with friends locally. So I was like, oh, I'll give it a shot. So laser tag was interesting. Definitely a bunch of fucking young kids and a lot of cardio, but it was fun. It's like $30, but it was about a half hour. I think it was like 3 minute rounds or something. So it was worth the price of admission and it was fun. And then a bunch of people peeled off and then we went and grabbed something to eat. It was like fucking like 10 o'clock. We were getting something to eat. I was like, this is like I should be in bed. What am I doing out eating? And they're like, all right, well, and then they were like, because I was just gonna be like, yeah, I'll go out to the bar with you guys and just grab a beer and go home. But then they were like, well, we're gonna go to this dude's apartment and like kill a case and then go to the bar. And I'm like, I'm not 17 or 18 or 19. Like, I'm not gonna do that. I'm sorry. This is where I bid you adieu. Like, I'm going home now. You go do your case race at like fucking 11 o'clock at night with a bunch of 25-year-olds. I'm going to bed. So I just thought that was funny, but I was still proud of myself for even like going to the strongman gym, going out after the fact, going out to like I did like three or four things that like grumpy old Keith typically wouldn't have done. So I was patting myself on the back for that.
it's almost not even bad that it's so short from now because you don't have time to freak out about it. You just go
Yeah,
and do and move on with it. Like
basically. And then the last thing, Letterkenny hit this week. Did anybody get a chance to watch any of that?
Oh yeah, already done.
Same, yeah. The last series, right? Or the last, it's over.
I teared up a bit because like we that's been our Christmas Day
Yeah, that's what you're saying.
ritual, right? Every morning we get up and we watch Letterkenny, and knowing that I'm not going to do that anymore. Um, but I think they ended it well. I was a little nervous at the beginning of the season that they were going to break everybody up, but instead
Hmm.
they were just like, "Well, this is done," and that was it. Like it was just done.
Yeah.
so, I haven't seen it, so don't give away too much.
No, I won't give out much more than
Life's
that.
been
But
insane for the last few days.
oh yeah, but yeah, I won't give out any more than that. Just like it was just a really good ending, and still one of I think the best shows to come out of Canada. Right, it's up there. You got your Letterkenny, your Corner Gas, your Littlest Hobo. You got your all those Canadian shows.
Littlest Hobo, the original Paw Patrol.
Yep. What was the other one? There was another Canadian show. Kung Fu: The Legend Continues. Definitely up there. I'm sure some of you guys will say Trailer Park Boys, but I don't know about that one.
About being Canadian or being good?
It's Canadian.
It's just, is it good or not?
It
Yeah,
has its moments.
It does. J-Rock is always good to watch.
but we'll still have Shorzy for a few years. Hopefully they don't end that for a while.
And I don't think Shorzy's a long-term thing. I don't think
Probably.
Shorzy can go that long. How long can you play
Well, yeah, because
fucking
it's.
whale shit no show hockey?
But I think the way they're doing it, it's like they're still on the first season or like this. Like they're. I think they ended it to where they
Six
just got
episodes.
into like the next playoffs or something. Like
Yeah.
it's still like the original storyline just keeps progressing a little bit. So I mean, they at least have to give us one more season to like give us the
Oh
ending
yeah.
of the
I
tournament.
see
they're
that
about to go
going
play in.
6. I don't see it going 12.
Oh, I'd be happy with 3, honestly. But yeah, I'll take whatever they give us. Because, but yeah, that was my. I figured I know we're both fans of that show, so I figured we'd chat about that for a second since it was kind of pivotal. And I actually went to go watch it on Christmas Day, and I couldn't find it anywhere because it doesn't stream on Hulu until the next day. And I was like, God
Yeah.
damn it! And then I tried watching like a bootleg copy of it, but then like the audio wasn't syncing up, and I was like, ah, fuck it. I don't want to force trying to watch it because I really want to enjoy it. So I know it's gonna be live tomorrow, so I'll just wait the day.
Yeah, it's produced by Bell Media, and Bell Media owns Crave here in Canada, which is our kind of version of Hulu. So it was launched mid 12:01 midnight.
It's one of the 36 streaming services that
Yeah, they have to have now to watch 8 TV shows.
Cable's too expensive.
Yeah.
All right, you guys want to rate last week's episode, the prediction episode?
Yeah. It was a good one. I liked it. They I think I ended up listening to that whole thing, if I recall. It was because they didn't have a guest, so they let us listen to that whole episode. So I always enjoy those episodes where I can tag along the whole time. I think I just was playing video games and just had my AirPods in, so there was only I don't think I had much Discord chat going back and forth, but just being able to consume it right then was always enjoyable. I'm curious of I think Tommy won, didn't he? Did Tommy
Yeah.
edged out
Yeah,
Tanner
it
in
was
that
like
one?
3
So
love or something like that.
yeah, and that was like I don't understand that whole tennis thing. I guess I've never watched tennis because that was all new to me. I was like, that's how you keep score with like words and shit. Like that doesn't like outside of like saying
They're all words, Keith.
it's one of those things where you have to
Oh,
understand the metric system.
yeah.
What
But and as far as the metrics gives him, we'll go ahead and give it 5 iPod touches out of 5 iPod touches.
about you, Steve? Did you get a chance to listen?
Yeah, I checked it out. Few of the things that a few takeaways from that. Not even being American, it looks like I went to 100% of their booth setups in 2023.
Oh yeah, hey, we did.
Nice.
It's looking like it's going to line up that we're going to do that again this year, Joey. So,
Yep. Unless they surprise
I
us.
guess. And yeah, like I said, we got to pump up those numbers here so we can out-minute them for sure. And definitely outguest them. But that being said, I mean, yeah, it was pretty standard shows, which is why I tune in. I mean, all in, I got to give it 5 Massonomic touches.
Massonomics
I mean,
touches. Hell yeah.
Is
yeah,
that what I think that is what like I was trying to leave and Tanner gave me a
I
little
mean,
smack on the ass. I think that was what we're gonna call a Massonomic touch.
I mean, what do you think keeps me coming back? Long flowing locks, just he knows how to. Never mind.
That's good stuff.
I thought it was really funny the kind of quick meme I posted because when Tanner was like, "Oh, Motorhead was wrong about that," I was actually driving to work and I was like, "How fucking dare you question Motorhead?" Like that was it's so irrational, but I'm just such a fan of Motorhead and Lemmy that I thought that meme I put in the Discord was kind of bang on. What's actually really interesting is while they were chatting about I think they said where they were chatting about Dan Bell setting the all-time world record,
Yeah.
I said out loud, no, we need to be talking about Jesus doing it.
Yeah.
And then they eventually moved to saying, no, Jesus is going to do it. And it's like they're listening to us all the time now, right?
Yeah, there
Like,
was a few times where I was yelling at my TV, and then they kind of addressed it a little bit down the road.
yeah, right. It's like, no, you need to be talking
Science.
about Jesus doing it. And so yeah, I don't see Jesus beating the all-time world record. But I do
Sure.
think if anybody's gonna do it, it's gonna be him.
Well, he already holds it. So for clarification, Jesus is the raw
Raw,
has the
not
raw total.
raps.
Yeah, but he doesn't lift reps. But I bet he will. I think he will end up beating Dan's wrapped record raw, which would be more
And
crazy.
worth
Yeah,
But
considering too is Jesus competes tested.
yeah, so
it is worth considering.
That is definitely not nothing.
The dude's a bit of a mm,
douche.
mm, yep. I wasn't gonna say anything other than growl, so you said it out loud.
Oh,
But he's strong as shit. You can't argue that.
yeah, his younger brother's pretty impressive too these
Yeah,
days.
no, I think he was repping like 800 or something the other day. Did you see the meme that they posted of kind of IPF douche lifter related? It was at Russ Swole. He was because he had to close his gym down because the landlord kind of fucked up with his lease or whatever, and like he was trying to like raise his rent, and Russ didn't want to pay it, so he had to close down his gym, Corrupted Strength. And then one of the big meme pages, put a picture of Russ in Corrupted Strength, the empty gym with the Halloween spirit store like photoshopped in, and like it was just so funny. And I was like, oh, I really got a kick out of it. And then I didn't get it at first, so that I don't follow Russ anymore because I just find him kind of cringe. So I had to actually go and like find his page or his gym's page or whatever and be like, oh, they closed like a month ago. So okay, now I get the meme, and now it's really funny and I get it.
um. So speaking of World's Strongest Man and the Arnold, I'm still putting my money on Mitch. I think Thor is very strong, very powerful. I think Mitch is going to take it because obviously I'm just a fan of Mitch Hooper. So it's, like met the dude, hung out with him. Like I'm still putting my money on that one. And even for World's Strongest Man, still putting my money on it. I actually think Thor will do one of those and back out of the other. Whichever one is first, he's going to do.
I don't
And then,
think Thor would do World's Strongest Man because he's had issues with them before.
yeah, I don't think he's going to World's Strongest
Oh
Man
yeah,
then.
I'm
it
pretty
was
sure they meant Arnold's.
So even if he does the Arnold, I think Mitch will beat him, but he won't. I don't think Thor will do WSM. So with all that said, five Massenomics Gym iPod touches.
Oh well, we took the long way to get there today. I forgot that I didn't register that you didn't rate that, and we kind of like had like six segues in there before we got back to it. I
Well,
love it.
sometimes I have to pretend I know what I'm talking about in the world of strength because, like, I don't necessarily know who everybody is, but when I do know, I kind of know things.
I
So,
mean,
yeah.
I kind of took the express route, so it evens out.
So an update on the hops, like it wasn't bad. Like it kind of grew on me. It didn't get worse. Sometimes like the drink just doesn't like I don't know, like it progressively just gets like shittier tasting or whatever. Like it was pretty decent. I don't know. I'm gonna go ahead and raise it up to 3 iPod touches.
I find that hops water tastes like non-alcoholic beer, which I'm progressively getting into, for obvious reasons. So I don't like have an issue with it. I just think the idea of lime and hops, because hops is already way too citrusy to add like this different citrus. But then again, you add beer to Corona, you add lime to Corona, right?
Yeah. I don't remember if I got the plain hops. That's if I don't think I did because I was just like, I think it was made by a different company. It was like these two were whatever. Like the two that I got two hop ones that were like flavored, and there was one that looked like it was just like plain water with hops, but it was a different brand. So I might end up trying that so I have a better understanding of what the fuck hops actually taste like, not like hops with flavor.
No, I'm telling you, fart on a grapefruit and then put that grapefruit in your mouth and you know what hops taste like.
No, maybe I'll pass on that then. I'm trying the other one.
All right. Steve, do you have an ad read for us this week?
Uh, kind of. I'd like to take this on a little bit of a tangent, if you don't mind.
Have at
I'd
it,
love
buddy.
And
that.
basically, just explain why Massonomics is important to me and why I'm a fan for the long haul.
I would love that.
All right. Well, a lot of it starts with last year at the Arnold. First time meeting the guys in person, and they were like super cool to you, treat you like a friend that you've always had, even though it was the first time meeting them. And that was the first time I ever bought any clothing from them. And then, a few months later, Tanner's having me as a guest at his house. Like, we're over there eating pizza, having a cigar, drinking beers, and having a good time. And it wasn't some big expensive like meet and greet. It was $10 to one of the best powerlifting events I've ever been to. And it's
Nice.
like the entire weekend was awesome. And it's like, you want to talk about like supporting local. I mean, maybe they're not quite local to me, and maybe they're latitudinally adjacent, if that counts for anything. But being a smaller business and being just a couple of guys who are actually like down to earth and cool and don't expect a whole lot in return, just be kind of like how they are. Like and there's a reason why a lot of my non-work wardrobe is by them, and including my weightlifting singlet and my daughter's weightlifting singlet now, which is pretty cool because she's getting into it pretty heavy, and they're just I don't know, they're just the kind of people that I want to support and that I like to be around. And when it comes to the crew too, like I'm not overly active in the Discord, but it's kind of like the group of people that I didn't really know that I needed.
Yeah, that's how I would word that too, man. That's how I would say that too.
As silly as this is, and it sounds like it's over the top, but it's like even just going to that event last year and just hanging out with those people and being a part of the Lift Hard, Live Easy Classic, it's like, hell, this year now I'm in it. Like it's
Mhm.
got me to turn my life around pretty big because I was getting pretty out of shape, and now it's giving me a reason to train every day and have a focus, and it's making a lot of differences in all of my life, not just in that. So that's why I think that they are pretty awesome and worth supporting.
Hell yeah, man. You couldn't have said it any better. That was well done. You didn't have anything to be nervous about. That was very well put.
Yeah, yeah, massnomics.com/join. Obviously, if you're listening to this, you already know that. But yeah, I can't say anything different than that, right? Morgan said to me specifically, she's so happy I found my people because
Nice.
there was a time where like I was very opposite. I cared about things and I was passionate about the world around me and blah, blah, blah. And then one day I just said, I'm tired. I can't do this anymore. And I kind of withdrew. And then I found the Massonomics Discord crew. And it allowed me to kind of be passionate about something and have fun without the stress and the constant pressure of caring about the world around me, where I could just care about the people around me.
Yeah, like it's obviously important to be aware of what's going on in the world and everything else, but it's like at
Yeah.
the same time, you can't make that your whole identity. It's like find
Hmm.
people who are like you and just enjoy life.
Absolutely. The only thing I will counter or contradict that
Oh,
Steve
here
said
we
was
go.
where they said they don't expect very much from us. I'm like, I mean, $3 a month they do expect, but that's a small drop in the bucket for all we get out of it. I just wanted to, bust their chops on that a little bit, but I'm glad we have the paywall.
Hey, I was withholding my $3 the first time I met them.
Right.
Oh,
Meeting
you
them in
weren't.
person was the reason why I was like, yeah, you know what? These are people we're supporting.
Yes, sir. Yeah, no, it was I'm glad there is the paywall too, because I think Tanner put it well, like there's the small paywall just to keep the douchebags out of Discord. Because if
Yeah.
Discord was fucking open, if Discord was 1,000 plus people, it would be chaos and not worth being a part of because no one would have a stake in it, and it would just be a bunch of people that are like, oh, this is just like one thing that I do for 2 minutes a day and I just fuck with people and I'm a troll. Like that would just
Yeah.
ruin the whole thing. So I'm glad we have the paywall. I'm glad our numbers are where they're at ish. I mean, I want them to keep growing, but like slowly, not like if we have like an influx of 200 people, like
Yeah,
it would be
if you want the
weird.
Wild West, that's what the rest of social media is for.
Yeah, no shit.
And it's interesting because I think that even when we do get some people that do want to fuck around in our Discord, it doesn't last very long.
Yeah.
They either just like nobody reacts to them, we just kind of ignore them, and they just go away eventually and charge back Tanner and say everybody in the Discord's rude. So I think that's about time to get our guest on the horn.
Yeah, let's kick all these look-a-loos out and see if we can't get Steve on the horn.
Yeah, it's too many Honda Civics drivers in here, so we're gonna kick one of them out. Um, hey, Big Steve, is that you?
It is.
All right, you are live on Unpaid and Underrated. How you feeling today?
I'm feeling kind of like anxious and nervous, and it's just an absolute honor to be able to finally just get on the horn with you guys.
Well,
I'm glad to have you, buddy.
certainly on the horn.
I don't think you and I actually did we talk at all Lift Hard, Live Easy? I don't know if we did. If we did, it was very briefly. So I feel like this is the first time I've really got to know you at all.
Yeah, I'm kind of a fairly reserved person
Same.
in public, so it's like my social media identity and my actual identity are very different.
Okay, so from an outsider perspective, having both of you here, that's interesting. Um, so Steve was still at the time, at the Arnold at least, a little crew adjacent. Crew
I
curious,
was crew
crew
curious.
curious, I think is how you actually coined that phrase. And I think I remember posting a picture of you at Brothers waiting for the guys to show up, looking at like how to join the Discord crew or how to join Massnomics. And then at the Lift Hard, Live Easy, I still think you were a little kind of nervous and withdrawn because I don't think you were so familiar with everybody as you are now.
It was kind of odd because it seemed like everybody knew me, but I had no idea who most of them were.
And that
Well,
is
Like,
exactly what the crew is.
because I feel like Joey's mentioned you 1,000 times.
Yes, Joey does talk about Steve a lot.
it's like, why does anyone care who I am? I'm just a guy, but I guess
Well,
that's the whole point of being there is, you're with a bunch of people who are like you.
well, when you're here, you're big.
You're one of the big Steves.
Yep. And then also at the Lift Hard, Live Easy, Keith was a dick. Because I don't think you talked to me more than twice for the entire time because you were so like, I need to lift and I need to, and I need to,
Oh, at the meet. Yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah,
yeah.
no,
Well, even
yeah,
the
yeah,
meet and like afterwards, you're
probably.
so focused on things. So it's funny that both of you were saying that because yeah, no wonder because neither of you really wanted to talk to anybody.
I was hyper focus is extremely accurate. I was,
Hyper
yeah.
focused is exactly how I would describe you. And I think this year, if you're there and you're lifting, I am going to be in your fucking way so much.
Well, I'm nervous because I don't think Stephanie's gonna make it out this year, and she's like my go-to handler and recorder. And I'll have my buddy Big Chris will be out there, but like he's a goofball. He doesn't take it serious.
Hell
So
yeah.
like it's gonna
You're going to be
really.
surrounded by,
Oh, it's I
you're going
need
to
to
be
like
surrounded
Surrounded
by
by idiots.
me,
I need to hire a
Bryce,
serious person.
Chris. Oh, you're going to be so serious. And we're all going to be in clown makeup.
And like
Just,
I'm trying to think because like all my buddies doing strongman, I don't think any of them are like if they're all gonna be drunk or fucking like not serious. Like I don't know who I could get to help handle me. But if there's anybody there that is that is a serious goose that's doing strongman and wants to give Big Keith a hand, I'd appreciate it because I always need a powerlifting friendly handler.
just handle yourself. Anyway,
I will. I'm sure I will. But it's
yeah,
just
I'm going to be a complete fucking menace because at the last
yeah.
event, I was like trying to help, right? I think I was helping Tanner and Tommy a bit, but at this event, because I'm lifting, I'm going to be a fucking menace with Bryce in the back. Like, silliest goose award is going to me or Bryce this year. There's no.
I'm curious if they're gonna keep the same awards or if they're gonna switch them up. That is I'm curious about that.
Well, I want that fucking belt.
We do have a guest. Let's get to Mr.
He's going to
Keith.
be there. I wanted some of his input on that
That's
because
true.
Yeah, like I'm going to be fairly neutral. I like to kind of let loose a little bit. Like the serious work, as far as I'm concerned, takes place in the next room over. And when I get there, I'd like to actually enjoy myself.
that's the spirit.
Obviously, like I care enough that I'm going to try to do my best and I'm going to, take it serious. But like in between, can't be so serious that you forget to enjoy yourself. Like that's the whole point of going there, I feel.
You're not getting any stronger in the warm up room, right? Like you've already done all the work to get to where you are. So the idea that you have to be so focused on and all that kind of stuff to me, it just like I've done all the work. The hard work was the last 6 weeks.
Yeah, you got to be mentally loose and physically tight, like just ready to rip.
That's the spirit. And then we're gonna have Lou there. Lou's gonna be handing us Fireball and beers.
And then we're going to stand up. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, just grab it and stand up. Like, what are you so mad about?
Oh, I'm getting so much anxiety just thinking about that. You fucks. Ugh.
Don't shit on the platform. Don't shit on the platform. Steve, do you want anybody to find you on social media or Discord?
If anybody's weird enough to want to, then I suppose they can find me at Huck Steve on Instagram.
Aren't you Huck Steve Goalie?
No, that's Twitter. We don't need to bring that one up.
Okay. Damn it! I thought that you were the goalie because there's so many goalie questions for you here on.
I mean, I am a goalie and I have a game tomorrow, but no, on Twitter on Instagram, I think it's just at Huck Steve.
Yeah, it is. I believe. Yeah, because
Okay.
It took me a minute to find you.
All right, yeah, no, don't go to Twitter. But just delete your Twitter. If you're on Twitter and you're listening to this, just delete Twitter and fucking bail. Like Twitter's a nightmare.
I don't
Good
think
for
I
local
had.
news and weather.
Yep. And then on
And
Discord, you are impossible to find.
Yeah, cat
I'm
lady,
crazy
something
cat
or other.
lady.
Yeah, that
Yep.
took me a minute to give you a fucking an invite on the link to that one because I was like, what the fuck is his name?
I had to screenshot it and send it.
Yeah.
Because I found you, but I couldn't figure out how to invite you. So it actually took that much work for me to screenshot your thing and be like, fucking send it here.
Just understand when it comes to technology, I'm pretty incompetent. So just anything is going to be difficult.
You'd think I was more competent. You'd think, but like it's not that I like can't figure it out, it's that I don't have the patience to figure it out.
Yeah, ain't nobody got time for that.
If I
I
don't already know, I'm not
It can't
gonna
be that
spend
important.
time. Yeah. All right. So, what is one piece of Massonomics merch you regret missing out on?
See, because I was fairly late to the party, there was all kinds of stuff in the early days. Definitely anything Coleman adjacent, like the yeah, Buddy Light stuff is pretty cool.
Mhm.
And I don't know, I think that's about it. I've got a lot and I'm pretty happy with it, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah, the yeah buddy one is always a popular question or a
Maybe
popular answer.
maybe the not necessarily Massonomics, but it's certainly Massonomics related. It would be the Ursonomics. It's kind of a lot for what it is to me. Like especially being
Yeah.
like international and everything. It's like,
I just don't like the high tops. I don't like high tops anything. If it's not like my Red Wing boots or whatever, like outdoor or out like boot stuff, I don't like high top shoes. And sorry, honey, she bought me high top shoes for Christmas. She says they look better with my kilt and my shorts because they come up a little higher, which is fair, but high top anything is not my go-to. So I also did not get the ergonomics.
I mean, I'm pretty neutral when it comes to like either high or low top, but it's just, if I was gonna get a pair of the barefoots, that definitely would have been the ones I would have wanted. But
Mhm.
I don't know. I waited forever, and here we are.
No, no, like barefoot sponsor and everything like that. Also great people. They've been
Oh
pretty
yeah, no,
wonderful.
absolutely.
But I mean, I have other brands that were less expensive, and your introduction to barefoot shoes doesn't have to be internationally shipped $150 shoes, and like big barefoot guy, I keep calling myself now big barefoot guy. I don't want to wear shoes ever again if I don't have to. So I've got some shoes. I've got in the summer, I don't even wear shoes unless I fucking have to. So yeah. All right. Well, let's get into some questions.
dive right in.
Yeah, let's dive right in. Most of the questions are going to come from me. We
That's
got
fair.
Sandy sent me a few things. So Big Sandy is Steve's wife.
Very
Uh,
Jason. Or
yeah, I think some of us will meet her at the Lift Hard Live Easy and maybe the Arnold.
definitely the Arnold.
Yep. And my wife, for some reason, submitted a series of very interesting subjects. So for those of you that don't know, whenever I talk about the big Steve that got me into deadlifting, into powerlifting, and back into fitness, that's who we're talking to tonight. So if you guys ever wonder why I'm here, it's because somebody asked me to go do a stupid obstacle course. I got into the gym to get ready for that obstacle course. Steve showed me how to deadlift, and now I'm here.
No,
and then
can
and
I
now
can I
Steve's
jump
here.
in
Of
on here?
course, again.
So last week you guys were talking about what are some of the most meaningful lifts that you ever witnessed in person. And yeah, one of the ones I can say is maybe it wasn't 1,000 pounds, but Joey and I having our deadlift sessions in that silly Fit for Less gym there a couple of years ago. That
Mhm.
was a big deal because it was the beginning of where we are here now.
Yeah, that was my first time doing 3 plates. I think it was
But,
with you.
Hell yeah.
it wasn't a lot of weight for either of us, but it led to where we are, and it's kind of a fun thing.
Yep.
And that's more than Big Bryce can deadlift, so you guys are doing pretty good.
Yeah, right.
Fucking he pulled 700 a day and I busted his chops about like maybe I don't remember what I said, but it was something belittling that amount of weight just to fuck with him.
Why though? Who no do it sumo? Just like completely fuck with him.
Yeah.
Do it like sumo trap bar deadlifts.
All right. Keith, I put a bunch of these in here. Have you had a chance to review any of them?
Yeah, I glanced over at him. It was weird not
You
having to do all
glazed
the
over
show
it?
prep. Yeah, yeah. Oh no, I didn't have that many paper towels to clean up, so I don't know how much glazing there was, but I saw some stuff I like. I'm excited to hear some answers. I'll dive right in. I had to take a little recess and go grab some beer. I wasn't going to drink tonight, and then I was like, I don't know. I killed that hops pretty quick and kind of got my taste buds flowing. So
But you grab yourself another barley water there.
Oh no, I got two. I grabbed two Mick Ultras. So I
Yeah, I saw
once
them.
once I go three, once I hit three, it's kind of a mild hangover that feels like shit. So figure two and some water, I'll be good to go. So uh, let's
The other day, I
see.
had my first beer in a couple of months. It was weird.
Nice. What did your cats think about that? I hear you're a big cat guy. I That's something you and I definitely have in common. I'm a big cat fan.
Yeah, I have one big cat and two normal sized cats. But yeah, my one cat Moose, he definitely looks like he lifts. But
That's fun.
maybe along the lines of us too, likes to live a little easy too. But he's got a bit of a punch on him. But we try not to give him a hard time about that.
So you got three cats in one house. That's got to be. We have two, and they're
Yeah.
terror. They terrorize it, and they're at least
Mine one cat is technically considered a hybrid animal. He is. They are the three of them are Savannah cats, and
okay.
they are absolute lunatics and have the persona of wildcats.
Oh wow. So those are like. I guess I'm not familiar with what a Savannah cat is. Is that like a? Are they like
Well,
almost like bobcats or something? Like they shouldn't be in the house, or like what am I missing?
I'm not sure if they're actually my one cat would be illegal in your state.
Oh wow.
So he is part, or they're all three of them, I guess, are part African serval cat. So they are, I don't know, they're,
Those like those are the cats that get like 30, 40 pounds and are actually like
oh
like
no, no, that's like, they're
no.
greatly exaggerated. Sorry,
Okay.
servals can be 30 to 40 pounds, but Savannah's,
Okay.
my one cat's like 21 pounds. And
Is that Moose?
yeah,
He's a hell of a cat.
he's a unit.
Yeah, but he had the patience of Job with my kids.
Yeah, no, like
Oh,
they're
that's
good.
good.
They just, when they get the zoomies, they do it right.
6 foot zoomies.
Excuse me.
Just a standing jump to the top of the fridge.
Need to go with their inch long teeth.
Now, have you had any trouble with him getting into your stereo, your speakers, your record player? Because I know cats would might like to eat the foam out of the speakers and shit like that.
Nope. They did get into my hockey equipment a little bit, but
Ooh,
luckily we avoided too many issues. They just like to kind of nest in there.
gotcha. But I asked that because it looks like your significant others told us that you're pretty much a big audio guy. So you got a nice little setup. You're into records and all that. You got a
Steve's a
little
big
music collection.
audiophile for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the
I
word
know.
I was like, I know there's a word for that, but I didn't want. It's like
Look at this.
it's
Look at
not
this fucking koozie.
autofellatio.
Like I'm gonna have to like start fucking deadlifting just to take things out of these purple koozies.
Speaking of cruise,
Jesus.
this is the one I got off Amazon. It was like a present. It was like $20 because it's orange and it does fit the skinny cans, but I don't like it because it's too tall. Like I go to drink and I have to put my mouth on the fucking koozie lip unless I like really like put my elbow up in the air to like tilt the can. So I'm not a big fan of this at the moment.
I was like, I want to praise Steve for his audio stuff, and I'm sorry, interrupted because of
Yeah.
this stupid fucking thing. So, Steve's big audiophile.
Uh, I like music. I like it to sound good.
Yeah.
That's about as
So
Go
is
ahead.
that do you have like a gym? Do you have a gym set up with the music, or is it like in your den or your living room, or what do you got?
so. I have a dining room gym.
He
And
does. Are
I've
you our
seen.
first? Is he our first dining room, Jim?
so here's how this came to be about.
Maybe.
I'm not trying to brag or anything, but I won an argument with my wife.
Yeah, that doesn't happen very often.
I'm sure it'll be held against me at for the rest of my life.
Oh, of course.
But it started out as me suggesting, "Hey, we got a pretty large dining room there. Maybe I can take up a little bit of it." Well, and her argument was, "Well, what are we going to do when we have big family gatherings?" To which I replied, "I don't know. What are we going to do the other 362 days a year?" And we now have a gym that is growing substantially.
Nice.
And I think the only way to make it better at this point is going to be to get a bigger house. So I'll have to look at that soon.
Yeah, I feel that dilemma of I've utilized every square inch of this room that I can.
But as for my stereo, I mean, it's in the living room, but I mean, I can hear it the next room over, and my neighbors can hear it, and
It's gonna
their
say, and the
neighbors
next
can hear
house
it.
over, and in the jacuzzi in the backyard, and in the basement, and
It's
yeah,
it's not crazy loud. It's just pretty clear and loud.
it's
Yeah.
So
focused. It's
you
focused.
Do you have a short ceiling basement or no garage? Like why the dining room and not like a typical location?
My house was built in 1900, so I believe
So
my dining room is larger than my basement.
makes sense. Yeah, a lot of base. Unless you have a ranch, your basements are usually not that big. I noticed, and like in general, and a lot of houses get these fucking like 5.5 foot tall ceilings in the basement, and it's
It's
just like
a
not
6 foot ceiling, but it holds like the furnace, the laundry stuff, hot water heater, and not much else.
gotcha. So yeah, dining room it is. Now, did you do anything to reinforce the floors underneath or build a killer deadlift platform? Because I would definitely be pretty nervous about deadlifting 400 or 500 pounds just on my regular floor joist.
Yeah, so I mean, I have it's about an inch and a half thick. It's made with stall mats and with like sanded maple plywood. It's seems to distribute the load fairly well. Today I dropped 445 on it and I didn't die. So
There you go.
Yeah, actually, I was a little nervous lifting in your living room. But again, I set the weights down pretty comfortably. I
listen,
don't
if you
drop
have
shit,
15
so
people over for dinner, I mean that weighs a lot more than my weights.
that's
Yeah,
true.
but that's static weight versus a bar. Like,
Well, I mean that's why I got the two like almost the inch and a half thick platform, right? To
yeah, you
distribute
should
the
be good.
load.
Yeah.
How does that work? Because I couldn't imagine training upstairs. Like, what are the other people doing when you're blaring music for 2 hours lifting weights?
Who
Like,
cares?
My wife is hearing impaired, so that works out great. You can go to sleep through it.
okay,
She takes her hearing aid out, and I get to be as ignorant as I want.
there you go. That's so you're lucky in that matter. Then of that
And
that
uh,
if that wasn't the case, I think you'd be fucked, buddy. Like,
and what do the other people do? Well, ideally, they're lifting with me.
there you go.
Yep.
Yeah, we heard
Uh,
about that. We can get into that now if you want. You have how old's your daughter? I saw she's like, very some
13.
okay, and she's in there deadlifting with you guys and wants to do a meet.
Yeah, yeah, she's getting there. What she needs is a little bit of dedication for a length of time. And right now, the biggest thing I'm trying to do is just I don't mean to hold her back, but like just let's do this safely and build up the right
Mm-hmm.
so that way you don't blow your back out like as a kid
Oh,
and
for
ruin
sure.
your life over this. Like there's lots of time to get strong, and we'll do it.
Yep. Is she into sports? Is that why she found interest in it, or is it like, oh,
Uh,
dad's doing it, I want to hang out with dad kind of thing?
she doesn't really do a whole lot of sports. Like she was doing karate for a bit, and she's big into cadets, and
Okay.
she's the best shooter in her corps.
Oh wow.
Now,
So yeah, that's
now
good for her.
she was into wrestling for a bit, or was that Evan?
No, it's both of them. Like they're pro wrestling fans. Like I brought them to live events, but mostly local
Mhm.
smaller shows.
No, oh, but that's how it starts.
Yeah,
Look at me. That's how it starts, right? Wrestling is still a spectacle, but you got to be strong, you got to be in shape, and you got to be muscular to do it.
yeah.
And so it makes sense that that's the direction that she wants to go. She was
No,
with us for the GGC.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, we got some big lifts in with her.
And then a couple of weeks ago when we were at our meet there at Apex Barbell Club there, she started out in the seats, and somehow by the end of the meet, she was sitting down on the floor right next to the head judge for and,
Nice.
he was
That's
nice enough to
awesome.
put up with her, and I think he recognized that, like, hey, this is potentially the next generation. Let's give them something there.
Uh, I dig that. Now, what are you doing to auto regulate? You mentioned like you're not letting her. Are you like, just being like, no, you're not lifting more than your body weight, or you're having to pull from blocks, or you're only going to do a
So
trap bar?
a
Like, what
lot
are
of
you
times, yeah, like so for deadlift, she pulls with a trap bar for the most part.
smart?
For squats, we're gonna do mostly box squats, so that
Smart.
way, like, you don't get into too much trouble that way.
Yep.
And then for bench press, I mean, we have spotter arms, and
There you go. It's
quite
basic.
frankly, I'm not worried about benching 300 pounds, so her 50 is probably okay for now.
No, I dig it.
We'll build
No,
those numbers up.
no, I like that. Basically, just treat her like she's a injured submasters, and she'll be all right.
Pretty much. I
As
mean,
far as the variations, like that's what I'd like,
yeah, yeah,
like box squatting when my knee hurts and pull from blocks when my back hurts, like shit like that. Like, you
Yeah.
know,
yeah. It's like when you get a new car, right? Like you don't need to neutral drop it when it's brand new. Like you got to break
oh
it
God.
in.
Do you I was everyone else as dumb as I was when they were a kid and like didn't when you're like 16 driving your parents' car for the first time, you didn't realize that neutral dropping was bad. You just thought it was cool and like
Well,
until you
automatics don't break. That's what happens to manuals.
but I remember like I would neutral drop the fuck out of my mom's car and just smoke the tires and just be like and then like looking back on it now, like I'd fucking beat the shit out of a kid if I saw him doing that to my car. It was like, oh my God.
Well,
the
I
stupid
did
shit
those
that.
things, but at least I did it with my own car. And I remember
Oh, I did it. Yeah, I did it with mine
Joey's
too.
mom yelling at me because I did it outside of his house the one time. And then the next day, I had a grocery bag and I was picking up pieces of my transmission, so I kind of got what
Oh, yeah.
I.
Yeah, my mom is seldom wrong.
No,
So you guys go way back then.
yeah,
Oh,
I did like
absolutely.
that.
I didn't, yeah, I thought you guys were more like, so you guys are like literally like fucking primary school friends and shit, not necessarily just dudes that just met in their 30s.
Yeah,
That's
no,
cool.
no, it goes back.
In deep.
Yeah, 14, 15,
Did
16.
she actually hit the sidewalls too?
Something like that.
Yeah. Um,
Uh,
hello, Oren. Oh, my son just joined me. That was interesting.
nice.
He should be asleep. Um, so one thing that it specifically says, and one from me, is to definitely ask about Steve's fitness history. It's not a linear progress, obviously. I think Steve, you've done a lot of things, a lot of sport related, strength related, um, um, baton related. So can you start maybe from the beginning and just tell us how you finally ended up with strength training with me?
Uh, so my, not to get too serious, goose here, but my lifting origin story is not one that I've really ever shared. And I'm not going to get into specifics, but I just, as a kid, there were some things that I wasn't necessarily thrilled about that were happening, not necessarily in my life, but just around the world. And I was always like, one day I'm going to be strong enough that, if I'm in that position, there's going to be something I can do about it.
Mhm.
And that was kind of like one of those odd little things. And, you know, I kind of, once I was old enough, I started, getting a little bit stronger. And let's see, when I was younger too, I was always into different martial arts as well too, like karate and a little bit of Kubudo, which is art of ancient weaponry, which is pretty karate adjacent. And
Yep. How far did you get in that?
not very far. It was just, I just dabbled a bit.
Mhm.
Play mostly with a bow and with like tonfas and sais and stuff like that. And I was never really great at that. Like for Goju-Ryu karate, I was second in the country for sparring and third for kata at one point for my age group. But like most things, I kind of became a teenager and became lazy and stopped doing that and picked a lot of things back up once I was a little bit older and a little more mature.
Mhm.
And then, you know, picked up hockey, picked up a lot of weightlifting, had no clue what the hell I was doing because, 20 years ago, what were the resources? Muscular Development Magazine,
Yep.
which, what they're doing in there is not necessarily what an 18-year-old clean kid should be doing.
Yeah, no shit.
And then, yeah, just a lot of off and on, and more off than I'd like to admit, but I'm on now.
Yeah, yeah.
It's never too late to get dedicated again. It's like anyone that's fucking their 30s, 40s. Like, I mean, it's all it takes is getting up and going to the gym a couple times, and you kind of build that habit, and you're gonna just, you have to go out of the way to make a conscious decision to break that habit once you've created it. So it's not that hard to get back into it.
And I like the karate thing and all that. I knew all of that stuff, but like it was definitely worth bringing it up. That Steve's not like Steve didn't discover strength training in his 30s. Like
Yeah.
Steve's been doing something off and on since he was a kid. And I've told the story many times that the first time I ever touched a barbell with purpose and intent was Steve showing me how to deadlift.
Nice.
And it was at the gym in downtown Hamilton at Momentum. All right. So,
Oh yeah, I
and
was
that
there. Never mind. Sorry, I was thinking it was at Fit for Less, but that was after.
no, so Fit for Less was the first time you and I had a deadlift party, which you are correct, was very, very changing. But for me personally, with that stupid, like, that had the hydraulic machine because they didn't even have a free bar there. I was
Mm.
like, can you just show me how to deadlift? And you showed me how to deadlift on that stupid bar. And that was, I've told that story many times that was the first time I deadlifted. And then it was like, this is forever now. This is my whole identity. But um,
Was that a
Yeah,
Smith
I
machine
remember.
basically? I'm trying to think of what a
I
hydraulic
hate this.
bar.
I don't even know how to describe this machine.
It's almost kind of like so if you look at the gym tour there at Liberty Barbell, how they had all those like
Hmm.
pneumatic machines. It
Yeah, those are
was
cool.
almost something like that. And it was kind of like rigged up to like a functional trainer with a bar, but where you could just like kind of lift.
Interesting.
It was resistance, but it wasn't like a weight on a bar. It was weird.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, it did like it was pneumatic. Yeah, pneumatic is a good word for it, and like it was completely functional within the racking, but it was always attached to something. And like it would be like if you had like two Smith machines that you could move the bar back and forth to, I think would be the way to describe that.
So in addition to up and down, it can move forward and back. It was like a three-dimensional plane.
Hmm.
Yeah, but it was not conducive to doing eventually what I would want to do. But that's just why I wanted to ask you about like some of that background stuff is, it's not like, Joey and Steve lifted together one day and boom, like Steve showed me a lot of things. He's always done this kind of thing, right?
And it's
Yeah.
like, so when it comes to like this kind of stuff, and we talk about like, bringing up my daughter and my son's starting to get like a lot of interest in it too, is it's like when I was their age, I wish I had their kind of resource that I can be right now because I've done a lot of things wrong. So that's how I know kind of a
Mhm.
little bit about how to do things right.
Yeah.
It's like, one thing one of my good friends says is like, be the parent you wish you had or whatever, like when it comes to certain things. And it's like, now I have an opportunity, like I can't change my past, but I can change their future. And
Yeah.
it's, if I can do that, then I did something right.
Your kids and my kids are going to be very lucky to have me and you and all this access to all these weights and all these gyms and all this stuff that like
That being
if
said, I
if
mean,
they
if they don't
choose.
care about it, then okay, great. Like we can encourage them, but I'm not forcing them to do anything.
That could be a trophy. That can be a trophy parent that goes ape
Like
shit
Yeah.
over all that.
I don't think I have to. My daughter is a bit of a lunatic. So for Christmas, I she told me I want powerlifting gear. I want sleeves and like wrist wraps and blah blah blah. I want everything. I'm like,
That's
you need to
awesome.
understand like this is not cheap stuff. So
Yeah, it's like a
if
two hundred
that's what
dollar
you
investment.
get, understand you're not going to be getting much else. So like if this is what you really want, make sure you're sure. Nope, that's what I want. Okay,
That's awesome.
done. Let's take some measurements.
Yeah, it's pretty fantastic. Um, all right. So moving away from the serious stuff, hopefully. So we've already covered some of this.
I got a funny one, kind of.
Fire away, go.
So now that you've mentioned your wife's hearing impairment, I'm curious if the way I look at this question changes. So your wife says that you mumble a lot. So
I was
do
gonna
you
get into
think you
that too.
mumble a lot, or is it her being a little bit hearing impaired? And which one is it there? And is there a story about tzatziki sauce?
So one thing I would say, I think actually being with my wife has probably helped to clear up my speech a lot.
Okay.
I was a big time mumbler, and just being with her, like you kind of can't be.
I can't stop. Hold on. I'm gonna mute myself.
And God damn it, Joey.
No, I know. I'm coming in with a story after this.
Yeah. So no, it's definitely helped. I mean, I don't know if I would necessarily would seek that out, but I mean, being that what that is, it's definitely cleared things up a little bit because I would always mumble brutally, and I still do occasionally.
I've been accused of being a mumbler many times in my life.
Steve
So
and I are both mumblers, to be honest with you. And I think that one of the funniest stories I can recall of Steve, and I hope he's okay telling this, is back when cell phones kind of first started. And I forget who I was with at the time. There was somebody in the room with me. I picked up the phone to phone Steve about something. And I'm gonna try and directly translate this conversation. It went, mm, all right, click. And they went, like the person that was in the room with me was like, "Are you fucking serious?" And then Steve showed up at my house, like ready to go where we were gonna go.
that's funny.
Yeah, and I still remember that to this day. That like you want to talk mumbling, Steve and I can have complete conversations without a single syllable or word being spoken.
It's like that twin language where it's like no one else can understand what is going on, but the twins can speak
Yeah,
to each other kind of and get.
Yeah, my problem is I think a lot of times too is I speak too fast and things combine into super words.
super words. I do remember the super words. We used to blame the solvent from our old job on the super words.
It's like when I fat thumb text and I just end up sending Joey like something like an entire sentence without a space in it.
And
If
I
we just
go,
hit
yeah,
M
I
or a
get
B
it.
instead, and it just becomes like this 162 letter word.
Yeah, that
It's
there's
just like
definitely a level of communication between us that is mumbling, grumbling, grunts. And yeah, so that's a thing. What about tzatziki? Like, what about the tzatziki?
So, being that I had a bit of a reputation as a mumbler, I was one day with my buddy Andrew. We were at Mohawk College there at the food court, and one of the options was like a place where you could get a chicken wrap. And apparently, the most clear I've ever enunciated anything was when I asked for more tzatziki, please. And Andrew was just like, "I've never heard anything more clear. Where the hell did that come from?" I'm pretty passionate about my tzatziki. I mean,
I like my tzatziki.
That's funny.
wanted to make sure there was no accidents there. I got what
And
I needed.
and now Steve also hates eggs.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Uh,
you would
yeah,
rate tzatziki higher than eggs, it looks like.
at the meet that I did, where Steve was my handler before he was my co-lifter, um, I only ate two hard-boiled eggs the entire day. And he actually informed me he had to leave while I ate those hard-boiled eggs. So how, knowing that eggs are the best protein and the least offensive taste, what's with you and eggs? Why do you hate eggs? And is it only eggs? Like, are
I
quail
mean,
eggs on there or duck eggs? Or is it just chicken eggs you hate?
Platypus eggs?
yeah, I mean, whatever. Eggs are kind of like Rascal George. I mean, they'll get the job done, but what the fuck are you doing with that?
Oh,
Nice.
I almost made Keith spit.
Oh yeah. I love when Canadians bash on Canadians too. That's even better. You know, Omar.
Sure, Rascal's great. I just wouldn't.
I have so much
But
rascal
eggs, I
stuff.
do know, and they can go kick rocks. Them and crunchy snow.
Oh, well, don't get too involved in that one. I got that one coming up later.
I get a kick out of that you saw in the Discord the Grant getting over his bullshit or back to his old bullshit thing.
Yeah.
The guy that said that, I swear I thought that was Omar at first glance, and then I got a kick out of that. But then I made a quick meme about that, and we actually got a follow back from Grant for the first time on the Unpaid podcast page. So I was pretty stoked about that.
Oh, I'm excited to find out he has his own page. Okay, let's go into some of Morgan's questions. My wife
I'm a little bit
wanted
nervous about this.
no, she knows. So she actually probably has listened to more episodes than me and you. So she's pretty familiar with how this goes.
Oh yeah.
All right. I'm gonna read them exactly as she put them, if that's okay. So the first one, smoking meat slash the weird boiling and plastic cooking meat thing. Bracket. I know the name, I just can't spell it.
Sous vide.
Sous vide. She made sous vide. She was
That's
like,
so
"Fuck
funny.
that! I'm not. I'm just going to describe
It's
it."
not boiling. God damn it.
So are you going to join this? You can join the smoked meat sous vide Discord crew, like with Matt, because he spends hours and hours and hours feeding his family. So like, what brought you? Like, why?
Just don't send any money for t-shirts.
So she wanted to ask you about that. Like, why is your passion in there? Why did you make me the best wedding present dinner I've ever had?
I just like really good food, but I'm also cheap, so I had to learn how to make it.
Mm.
And growing up too, it's like, I had a single mom who worked a lot, and you can only eat so much Kraft dinner and hot dogs before you start to figure out, just like, yeah, I better learn how to cook for myself. And it's just something I've always enjoyed.
Steve is my go-to for meat. And when we were married, oh yeah, you're
When
right.
you and Steve were married?
Steve is my go-to for meat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God, there's so many good clips there.
That's
Crazy.
good. That was good. That's actually in here too. So when we got married, and I don't know if I've discussed this on the podcast before, we got married in secret. We didn't invite anybody or anything like that. But when I eventually told Steve, he said, I know you don't need anything material. I think what I want to do is give you some time. So we put a tent in the backyard, and Steve made me and my wife dinner while him and his wife watched my kids. So we could just have a date. And yeah, that was I think you did ribs that day. No,
Nope, it was
no, it was a brisket.
prime rib.
It was a prime rib. Yeah, yeah, that was fantastic. And so that's actually also in here.
cooked over the fire pit there.
It was fantastic. Yeah. Morgan wanted to point out, though, specifically that your groomsman gift from me, how you found out we were married, was I delivered you a gift and said, sorry, I couldn't let you be a part of this, but here's a gift. And what was that gift?
Uh, it definitely was pretty important in making sure that I would never have an accident ever again with a drink in my gym. And
Yeah.
it was a pretty badass drink spotter.
Yeah. You and my brother are the reason that I specifically have bought more drink spotters in Canada than anybody else.
It was the wrong color, but we won't hold that against Joey.
Well, one day we'll get that other color.
That should be like a prize for the 2024 Lift Easy or Lift Hard beat.
I think we can make that happen.
You can paint a drink spotter.
Well, that's true. You could just spray paint it.
I think Ephraim painted his gold, if I recall. And a couple other guys painted him red, I think.
I'll keep it as is. I like it
Yeah,
as.
I wouldn't fuck with it, but I know it's.
And I actually think that was like the first time I gave you, like, you had something Massonomics, wasn't it?
Might have been, because I think that was right before we went to the meet, which is where I bought my first few articles of clothing.
Yep.
One of them being in Tanner's basement the day of the meet because you forgot to pack shirts, from what I recall.
Yes. Let's talk about that.
Because they were like, "Oh, I'll just get you a shirt tomorrow, buddy." And he's like, "No, I don't have anything to wear tomorrow. Can I get a shirt tonight, please? This is a Friday night before the meet." That you guys.
I had like 6 pairs of like pants, which is what you need in the middle of the 35-degree.
Jesus Christ! It was fucking 1,000 degrees. I didn't wear pants once, like in a 6-month radius of that date. Oh
Yeah, well, I mean, if you needed them, they were there.
And that's when you got the All Go No Show.
That's a good shirt.
Which was a pretty good choice.
Actually, I regret not getting that one, to be honest.
Fits well.
Wore that yesterday.
So,
all right, go ahead.
What do you have to say about Joey not knowing how to drive a standard?
Oh fuck! Here we go.
I mean, we all have our flaws, whatever. Like, it happens.
Now, has there been any attempt to teach Joey how to drive a standard? Considering, so anyone that's you're not familiar, you should be if you're listening to this, that you guys drove from Hamilton to Aberdeen, and you drove the entire way over like 2 days basically, and Joey just sat there riding
There was
shotgun.
a while where I was
Passenger
like, okay,
princess.
we're going to be going pretty straight. So how about we just switch seats? I'll let you go. I'll talk you through it. It'll be all right. And then it was just like, we both just had too much anxiety. I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'll just drive. I'm used to it.
Yeah, that's I don't know. That would be awkward trying to teach another grown man how to drive stick, I guess, at that point. Because like I don't know. Like,
Oh, hold on. Whoa.
It's not like trying to teach someone to play pool on TV. Like I wasn't going to be like guiding him at the hips. Like it would just, okay, here's what you do.
Now, also, Steve taught me how to drive automatic too.
Okay.
Yep. I had two main drivers. It was my dad and Steve. Steve took me to a parking lot, put me in the station wagon at the time, right?
Yeah, the old Escort station wagon.
Yep. So there's no embarrassment at all about Steve trying to teach me how to drive, because he taught me fucking how to drive.
20 years later, though, ain't it?
Yeah.
Are you a couple years older, or was Joey late to getting behind the wheel?
1 year older, and I just had a car early.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Like out of our friend group, I was pretty much the only one with a car at 16.
Gotcha. Yeah, same. Well, that's good.
Now, tell the story of the time you came up here to do the one chip challenge.
Yeah, I want to hear about that.
I saw that break there. I saw that, like, damn it.
Is this one of these like hot chip things?
Yes, it is. It's the hot chip thing.
I mean, I don't know how much of a story there is. It was November a few years ago. We decided that Joey, his brother, and I were
stupid,
kind of like-minded idiots. And we've never shied down from a challenge, and never really shy away from spicy stuff. And I thought, hey, you know what's a terrible idea? Let's get together and bang this out. And we did. All of us, we ate it pretty good. We all did a pretty good job of not letting it, be known how much we were feeling like we were dying. But we got through it. 15, 20 minutes later, it's sort of, I was able to see color again, and everything was going good. we hung out for a bit and whatever, had a beer, this, that, and everything else. And on the drive home, I nearly crapped myself in the car with my wife and kids. We had to go to a Tim Hortons in short order,
That's great.
where I felt like I was being basically, stabbed by a flux scaler in the back door while I was trying to
That's horrible.
just make it end.
Oh fuck. Yeah. So
Basically
at the
doing Pepto shots after that.
yeah, at the time the one chip challenge was kind of new, right? And like nobody was really doing it. And I managed to get my hands on a couple. I had five in total. So I put it out there to a couple people. I was like, come up to my house. Like, I've got a big backyard. Let's go do something stupid in the backyard. And it was Steve and my brother that showed up. And actually, speaking of my brother, we should start pushing him to get crew. Um,
I
and
do have one of those here, by the way. We're gonna have to maybe bring it down to Geith.
No, thank you. I am a pussy when it comes to anything hot. I don't.
I still have one too.
Give me pepper. That's about as spicy as I want anything.
Oh Jesus. Yeah, these are 1 million Scovilles.
Yeah,
And
my son wants to do it. I'm just like, this would be hilarious, but I don't know.
yeah, well, Greg wants to do the Devil's Toe because I bought a bunch of those too. Now, if the one chip challenge is 1 million Scovilles, the Devil's Toe is five. But
I
it's not
will
a chip,
I will tape it.
it's a sucker that you put in your mouth and you have to hold it as long as you can in your mouth. And the stupid thing about that is that's when your spit starts to attack you. That's exactly what that is.
My
I
eyes
mean,
are
that's
watering
not the
thinking
hottest
about it.
thing I've eaten. And I think you were present for the other one too, Joey.
Yes, yes, that is when you decided to take a Thai chili raw off the plant and
No,
jam it
that
in your
was it.
mouth.
It was in Ellison's basement and it was
Yep.
hanging on her ceiling. And she
Yeah.
went, I don't know, these have just been here since I was a little kid. So I went, that sounds cool, and I ate it and regretted my choices immediately
What that was hotter than the one chip challenge?
by a lot.
Yeah.
The
That's
oil
Yes.
on my hand, I don't know if this is necessarily well, the show isn't too PG.
This is not a PG show. Go
yeah.
ahead.
We're
So I
NC
went to the
17.
washroom and I still had some oils on my hand. And when I pulled
Ooh.
out my stuff, it cracked the helmet and it looked like chapped lips down there. It was the most pain I've ever been in my life.
Yeah, I did something similar as a kid, like 4 or 5 years old. My grandpa had a bunch of hot peppers for some reason in the backyard, and somehow I got into them and like went and go take a piss, didn't know any better, and then like I was like I remember like when you have something traumatic, not even traumatic, just you have something from your childhood that you kind of remember but you really shouldn't. I think you really remember just people telling you the story, so I think it's more of that. Like I kind of remember the whole thing, but yeah,
No,
similar to.
yeah.
It sounded like you were a little bit older. I was like under 5 and touched my pecker, with hot peppers all over, hot pepper seeds all over it. And I think they were like gonna take me to the fucking emergency room because my dick was all like swollen and like red and shit, and I was
Still
crying
pumped
like
to
a
show it
son of a
off.
bitch. Yeah, no, it was that was still traumatic thinking about.
No, I was probably 18, so I was definitely old
Oh
enough to know
Jesus.
better.
Yeah, no, that's pretty bad. I couldn't
I drank a 2 liter bottle of RC cola that day. That's how bad that hurt. Like I was able to put back that crap.
That's funny. Well, if you ever get hot pepper seeds on your barbell, here's one thing that might be able to help you out. We'll do a little quick ad read for you guys. So, Barbell Rescue. At Barbell Rescue, their mission is to revolutionize barbell maintenance by providing gym owners and fitness enthusiasts with a superior cleaning solution. Their innovative 365-degree nylon cleaning brush is designed to enhance the longevity and performance of barbells. Their commitment is to ensure every barbell is in peak condition, promoting a safe, hygienic, and effective training experience. Use code UNPAID to save 10% at Barbell Rescue and keep your fucking pepper ring hands off your pecker.
That was horrid, but it was still a much better segue than last week, so I'll give you credit for that.
Oh yeah, it's well because like I see the opening sometimes, but then like no one will stop talking, and it's like, well, I don't want to interrupt, but it's like my perfect segue is now like 30 seconds behind, so it's like, do I wait for another one or do I just kind of throw it in there and it's just stupid because like we got to try to knock out some of these ad reads though. So
Actually, mine will show up either tomorrow or the next day. Actually, it's on the way. I just hope I don't have to pay fucking $800 in customs on that.
and don't really know. That's so weird. Like they just like you just get like an email basically like what it's going to be extra like after the fact,
The email is if you're lucky.
and then you just it
It's
tells
when they
you.
show up at the door and knock on the door and go, "Hi, give me your credit card, or else you can't have your product." That's the one that fucking sucks.
And you've already
But
paid for it.
yeah, everything is shipped kind of right now. Everything is shipped ground, so I don't think I'm gonna have to pay for that one. But
That's
I'm
Yeah, that's
kind of
always the
worried.
best when you order something on eBay and you get it like 2 months later, and it's, by the way, you owe us money. For
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, this shirt actually is one of the ones where I paid for the shirts. I paid about $30 in shipping, and then I paid an additional $30 in customs fees to get it. And I'm like, I've now paid more to get it here than I paid for the shirts.
well, now you're coming to like how does that work too when you're coming back across the border? If you have a trunk full of shirts, like do you have to but you could
Depends
just
how
say
long you've been across. So if you're there for
so you
typically, if I go across for a day trip and I bring back like a couple $100, they won't bother me.
Yeah.
okay. So when you
But if
guys
it's
come to the
like,
Arnold, you should like have some you'll either buy a bunch of shit at the Arnold or like
or I
have
just
Kevin or Nate buy a bunch of shit shipped to their house and then have them give it to you at the Arnold or something.
or I just put it in my suitcase and it's not like I bought it there. I just
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, I'm not saying, yeah. I'm like, you don't have to, I'm assuming you're not going to declare it, but just like to physically already have it purchased, ready to go. Anything that you would want from America, like you're going to see 20 different guys that can give you a bag of shit at the Arnold,
Yeah.
but then you're having to babysit that fucking bag the whole time, and it's kind
When we crossed coming back from the Arnold, they were like, "Do you have anything to declare?" And I said, "Oh, I bought a couple shirts and some gym equipment." And they're like, "What kind of gym equipment?" And I was like, "Oh, like some speedos and pantlets or whatever." But I forgot actually that I had the fucking plates.
of.
And the guy was like, "Yeah, whatever, man, go through." Right. But again, I was there long enough that I actually think that would have been fine.
yeah,
And then,
depending. There's a table. Like if you're there for like 2 days, you can get like $400 worth of stuff. If you're there for
yeah,
a week, you can get like $800 worth of stuff, and that's each
yeah.
too. Right? So
And that's per person.
if we have a car with like a couple of people in it, or like for instance, Joey, my wife, and I will be down there, and so that's 3 people. We could bring back a lot if we wanted to. Just not really booze or tobacco, which
Gotcha.
okay, whatever.
Well, even then, when I was like, I have exactly 8 cans of Stone Cold Steve Austin's beer, the guy was like, okay, that's way more than I care about, right? It really just cares on, it depends on the guy or girl
Yeah.
and how much they give a shit, right?
Yeah, it was like the one day I went to the States there, and there was I was at Walmart, and there was like a cooler. I forget what it was. It was like a cranberry cooler or something. I was like, well, I kind of want to try this, so I put one of them in my trunk. And when I crossed the border, they're like, "Do you have anything to declare?" I'm like, "Well, I have one cooler and or one can of beer basically in the trunk." And they're like, "Why are you even telling me that? Because
Yeah,
I'm not going to risk my or to ruin my life over one can if I don't."
Yeah, no, that
correct.
makes sense.
And I wasn't going to smash it in the parking lot before driving home.
Yeah, no, good call. So, we got a question here about some Big Tanner wants to know, and you can kind of segue into your personal experience with this throughout your, hockey career. But who is the best hockey goalie of all time?
Best or my favorite? Because there's two
Both.
choices.
Give me
Both
both.
if
For
both
my
if it's under
favorite,
a
it's
couple of
going to
minutes.
be well, for my favorite, it's pretty obvious. It's going to be Felix Potvin. So when I played, he was number 29. That's the number that I wear on my jersey. One of my cats is named after him. He's Felix Catvin. And he was just a pretty good goalie for my local team, the Toronto Maple Leafs, when I was a kid, when I was first becoming like aware of who people are and what stats are. And that just always stuck with me. And it seems like for a lot of people my age, that's fairly similar story. And as for the best goalie, got to be Martin Brodeur.
Cool. And then you've played hockey like pretty much your whole life, then I'm guessing, and you're still playing hockey. Okay, no.
Started as an adult. Couldn't really afford it as a
Oh
kid.
wow. Okay.
So I played one season when I was maybe about 25, and then kids happen, and I didn't play again for about 10 years. And about
Wow.
5 years ago, a buddy of mine knew that I had equipment, so he's like, "Hey, we're joining." It's mostly just like a recreational co-ed hockey league for kind of people like us, and we've now been in the same team for like 5 years and moved up divisions and gotten a little bit more confident.
That's cool.
But
So
we're just a bunch of hacks out there having fun. It's just an excuse to get together. And
So as a funny story moment, are you comfortable talking about your most recent co-ed experience with the hockey equipment?
sure, I don't care.
All right. So
let's
one
hear it.
day,
I have no idea what you're talking about, but giddy up.
it's when you went home, put on your hockey equipment.
Yeah.
Well, Steve slept in his hockey equipment that night.
Oh wow.
He went home and just threw it on and went to bed.
You're a
I
little
thought that was
inebriated. I don't.
That's not the entire story, but that was
that's the one we'll tell.
that was marriage 1.0, so we don't need to go further.
No, but that's one of my favorite things because that's actually going to come up later.
All right.
Not
Well,
that thing in particular, but that night. But yeah, it's always one of my favorites. It's
It was
well, I
new
went
equipment.
home
I
and
was just like, it was new equipment and it fit pretty good. That wasn't even goalie equipment. That was regular equipment. I was just like, hey, these uppers look pretty good. And I was like, I was also lifting a lot at the time and I was also hammered drunk. So I put them on and put my sweater over top and was thinking, man, I look pretty buff in this thing. And then I wanted to go up and, show somebody else how buff I looked, and they were way less impressed because they were sleeping.
I wasn't even going to bring that person up. I just like the idea that you put that shit on and went to bed. That's really good.
You dummy. That's really funny.
Yeah, so drinking's bad, kids don't do it.
Yeah,
Okay.
doing my best to like in all fairness, me and Steve have so many stories about each other,
I
and
probably
I'm just trying not to like bring up any of like the embarrassing or offensive stuff, but wearing your hockey equipment to bed is one of the best things I think I've ever heard because it's good. Like Tanner only asked about hockey equipment, and
That did smell pretty ripe.
it was brand new.
Okay, there you go.
I mean, I probably smelled pretty ripe. I was drinking a lot.
Well, basically the opposite of being a drunk guy that puts on a hockey equipment to go try to get lucky. You just did a powerlifting meet. Pretty happy with your numbers?
Nope.
Okay.
But I make a very good before picture.
Nice.
No,
Oh,
it gives me a good place to start. At least,
was that your first meet?
yeah.
Okay, cool. So you got a
So
base. You have a
what
baseline now.
the way this kind of goes was last year we were at the Lift Hard, Live Easy Classic, and I went, yeah, this is pretty epic. Like, I need to get my act back together because at that point I was kind of built like a bag of milk, and I
He
was
doesn't even know what a bag of milk is. He's fucking American. He doesn't
whatever, a
even
jug of
know.
milk. Either way, it was not impressive. And so I was just like, okay, around August, I guess the signups for the meet that just happened came up. Joey let me know while we were in the car and signed up for it.
Nice.
And went, okay, yeah, I guess I'm gonna start training now. And then I was like, it's been a slow progression. I mean, as you get older, obviously it doesn't bounce back quite as quick as you'd like it to, but we're moving in the right direction, taking it kind of calm, keeping healthy is the big thing. And then then the signups came up for the Lift Hard Live Easy 2. I mean, 2024. I was like kind of worried about getting a spot, and luckily that kind of worked out. And it's like nice. So it's good to get the first meet under my belt. And so I made all my mistakes, hopefully, or most of them.
Nice. Do you have any goals for the Lift Hard 2024 on the platform or otherwise?
Yeah, for squat, I'd like to do 450, bench 315, and then deadlift, I'd like to hit 5. But you know what? I don't know if I'm going to do those, but I would like to. And I'm going
Nice.
to, work hard towards reaching those goals.
There you go. And you'd mentioned, so it sounds like you lost some weight in the last few months. I think was that someone, I swear I either saw that in Discord or did they mention it on the sister podcast when they were talking about Joey's buddy Big Steve and how he looked a lot different from he did when they saw him at the Arnold or at Lift
Both.
Hard.
It was on Discord. Yeah.
I think I posted it in Discord because I posted a picture of myself from the spring versus a picture of myself on the platform. And
Gotcha.
kind of hard to, you know, I wouldn't say it's an epic transformation. Like, it's obviously still very much in the process, but it's like, yeah, you know what? In the last 6 months, we did all right. And now we
Oh yeah,
got 8
man.
more months to see how far we can take this.
Oh yeah, it'll be here before we know it. We'll be catching that flight to fucking wherever we're flying into.
But I mean, like, obviously, it being a little bit out of it and everything, I was taking things very slow, but I feel like I'm finally starting to kind of hit my stride and make some progress.
Nice.
So hopefully we can keep it going.
Are you on Team Juggernaut or are you kind of doing your own thing?
I'm just kind of raw dogging that. I might jump on Juggernaut at some point. I kind of been on the fence about it. The longer I wait, probably the worse it is. If I'm gonna, I should just try it. But
Yeah, I'd say if you were
so
gonna
far,
do it sooner than later.
I
But if
mean,
not, do your
yeah,
own. If you're content with your own thing, keep doing that. But what are we at? We're like 18, whatever, 20, 30 weeks. I don't know what the fuck. However many.
205 days.
Yeah, so that divided by seven, however many weeks that is. I have to
It
think of
sounds
it in
ridiculous that I know that. I just happened to look it up today for an Instagram
well,
post.
what's that divided by seven?
And I'll tell you that Big Steve is big math.
Nice.
If there's anybody that I ever need help with math, I I could pull out a calculator or I'll call Steve and go, "Hey man, can you just
So yeah, we're 29 weeks out. So
I
you've
mean,
got
there's nothing wrong
you,
with
you got
being a
a
little
you got
bit
a solid
athletically
18
gifted.
to 20 weeks where you got to really worry about a peak. So
You had some fun with ammonia with those packets. I think those were the best I think that I've
Yeah, you
had.
know what? They weren't offensive like the one we had the week before, where it's just like
Yeah.
you got like basically a shotgun to the eyeball.
Yeah, I brought the dim Mac in over to Steve's house, and I think we both fucking hated that. Like it was so
Oh,
bad. It's still bad.
that needs to be left with the lid off for like half an hour to calm down, and then it'd be perfect. But it
But
needs to be
anyway,
left
so yeah,
outside.
left outside. Obsidian ammonia, we got our code. It's unpaid. Save you 15%. I know he just had a big BOGO sale. So like honestly, if you're really gonna do anything, just do what is best for yourself and for Obsidian ammonia. But if there isn't a big sale going on, use our code. It's ammonia. Now he is, of course, sponsoring everything everywhere. I just found out that Travis is sponsoring WRPF Texas. He's got another federation, I think, that he's sponsoring. The dude is doing so much for the powerlifting community that if you want to use ammonia, maybe think about using that one because I know there's other ammonias out there, but nobody's giving back like he is.
Yeah, you
Use
know what?
co
I am a big fan of theirs for sure. It's just that one was just a little stronger than needed.
Oh yeah, that
For
no,
me.
fuck, I remember that too. Like I did that one too, and I think one of my eyes closed permanently for half an hour. But yeah, and then we also have plate snacks. I don't think we talk about plate snacks enough.
yeah, we missed
Keith,
them last week.
yeah, give me a heads up on plate snacks.
Oh, let me pull that one up. This is I always fumble with this one because
I
it's
will
so
say
good.
this while you're looking it up though. After hearing your read from last week, I was like, I got to go look at this, and I'm just like, man, I want all of that.
Yeah, they're
Which
neat.
with the
They
plate snacks. So I'm like, before you even get into the ad, I'm just
this is
stalling.
the ad.
I yeah, actually, I'm stalling right now. I think my hundreds, my strength go hundreds need a Jägermeister symbol, and I
Oh,
think the
you
person
can
to
do
do
that.
that is going to be plate snacks.
Yeah,
That being
it,
said, do they work on bumper plates?
I'd have to I'd have to look that up. I'm not positive. I think they work on. It depends on the plate, but I'm pretty sure you can get smaller ones that work on like the hub part that's smooth before it goes into like the contoured part because it's not going
Yeah,
to
I know what
work.
you're saying.
Yeah, so it's only going to work on whatever is like a smooth flat surface, and it's not going to. I mean, you can't put a sticker on something that's like bumpy or
Oh yeah, of
rigid
course.
or holy. So it all depends on what you have, I guess. But yeah, he's made all our stickers. He's made Scott Dodds's, pecker stickers of Tanner and Tommy that uses the bar shaft as their dicks, which is just the funniest thing ever. Gluck did his video today, and he had a bunch of old. He had a gym review, and he basically put all his like cheap shitty China import plates. He put plate snacks on just to kind of jazz it up and stuff. But he does a lot of different stuff. He can do little smaller banners as well. So if you're looking for anything kind of neat or to put your own little flair on your gym, go check out our buddy Plate Snacks. Use code unpaid to save 15%.
Can't argue with that.
Pretty decent. So we're getting close to 2 hours here.
Oh man.
Yeah, we're doing it. We're doing it. You want to get into some unpaid and underrated? You want to get a little
Yeah.
bit unpaid and underrated?
Yeah, let's do some unpaid and underrated.
Now, do you want to go first this week? I know that
Always
usually you go first,
I'll
so
go first. I'll stick with my don't throw me off my game this late. So Big Steve, unpaid or underrated. You familiar with the game? No, you use as much druthers as you'd like, and riding the line. Unpaid is the equivalent to overrated, and underrated is underrated. So he's giving me a heads up, or a head nod. So I'm gonna go with this is gonna be a little harken back to last week because I think your answer is gonna be a little different from Carp's. So I want to hear your opinion on ketchup and if it's unpaid or underrated.
It's pretty unnecessary as a whole.
yeah, I fucking hate ketchup.
Now that being said, like nothing, nothing like a good ketchup dad joke. I love anytime I'm ever at somebody's house if they make like something nice, like a nice steak or something. I first thing I'll do is get the ketchup and put it on the table and just wait for them to see it.
Took me a second to figure out what you meant by a ketchup dad joke. I got you. So you're not actually using it. You're just implying that their meat sucks and that it needs ketchup. I like it.
Yeah, but no, I mean, I think it's generally unpaid.
Nice. Yeah. I threw that one out there because I think on the carbs ketchup poll, you specifically DM me neither when it was Heinz versus the field. You were like neither. I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna add that to the podcast page because this week Joey did like 90% of the show prep for us, if not more. So I was
Ketchup
like,
is ketchup is only good on Costco fries. Everything
Ketchup
else,
is,
fuck right
ketchup
off.
is,
I got a Costco fry.
ketchup is reasonable on chips.
Yeah, you're Canadians and your ketchup chips is now you're talking about ketchup chips. You don't
Yeah.
actually like get a plain chip and then get a bowl of ketchup and dip them,
No.
do you?
I mean,
No, no, no.
sometimes I'll do that too, though. You get like a bit of ketchup and a bit of vinegar and mix it together and
Oh,
just drive it in you.
that
But
makes me
if
want
it's
to
on
try.
food that has like that should be good, then it doesn't belong anywhere near it.
I agree. All right, so
Just
I'm
cook
gonna
it right.
go
You don't need that crap.
my second one, unpaid or underrated, all-in-one gyms. Pieces of gym, those Marcy all-in-one gym cable systems or whatever brand, the cheaper ones.
So like the one that I have in my next room.
Yes, that is why it was the added, I'm
Yes,
assuming.
yes, I
This
put together almost all of these.
Yes.
this
I
is
saw
tough.
that.
I
I
mean,
did see it in the video, and I was like, "Ooh, I want to ask you about that."
it's kind of tough because I mean, like they're an ask for a seat. Like
Yeah.
they have their place, but it's like if you had a good one, I would say definitely underrated.
Hmm.
The one I have would be perhaps unpaid
Probably
because,
depends on how much you
but
paid for it, I guess.
yeah. Also,
And
I mean,
and
the
and
problem
to,
with those things is they do everything like 80% as good as you want them to, and that's great that you have the ability to now do that. But is it as good as like a high-end commercial gym? Absolutely not. But it's better than not doing it at all too.
now, how important is putting the feet on the right way?
Well, if you want your floor to not get scratched up and ruin half an hour of your life, then it's pretty important.
He sends me a text. He's like, and he circled the fucking foot. It's like this thing cost me fucking hours because he put the one rubber thing on
There's
backwards.
step one in the book, and I did it wrong. And then when I got to step 12, which coincidentally is the last step, is when I realized that, oh, I can't put the faceplate over the weight stack because it doesn't attach to this thing backwards.
That's shitty.
So we had to take the whole thing apart, strip the entire hell out of the screws because I was using an impact driver because I'm an idiot.
Oh yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, I'll
No,
just
you
do
got to
anything manually.
If you,
use
you
a
know,
use a drill with a chuck, pretty like on the lower end, so it doesn't strip stuff out. It's your way to go,
no,
I
I
guess.
had an Allen key basically rigged up to my impact driver, and we made sure that thing's never coming apart. So I guess I can't move now.
Yeah, well, I guess it'll just be backwards.
And
All right.
we managed to get the whole weight stack off so I could turn the thing around and get it back on. And it was a little bit traumatic, but we got there.
And that's why I added it. That would be fucking funny to hear.
Oh, so from my
So,
third one, oh, you got one more. You got
so yeah, basically unpaid based on range of motion of the cheaper ones.
gotcha. Yeah, the bigger ones I would say are a completely different class. Like I don't like they're you're talking about a functional trainer or those power like basically the standalone power rack that have the crossover and the lat attachment and all that. Like that's a different ball game than when I think of all in one. I think of what you have or like something that fucking Chuck Norris was trying to sell
Now,
you 20 years ago.
now for my kids and for my wife, absolutely underrated because that is not intimidating for them to use. They can do it
Mhm.
safely, and it's a good
True.
introduction to strength training. Which, if that's all you need it for, wildly underrated
There you go.
because it sure beats not doing it.
Oh, somebody's riding the line.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
So
just giving a couple of caveats. I've seen some others. For my particular use,
Unpaid.
paid.
all
Also,
right.
putting it together, unpaid.
Yeah, sounds like it for sure.
The way my
Uh
brain works, unpaid. Yeah.
so my last one out of this list, I'm gonna go with tugboats. Tugboats, unpaid or underrated, and why? And if there's a story, elaborate because we like a good
It
funny
might be the
story.
most underrated thing in history.
All right. Why is that?
I,
Because he
I'm gonna
has to tell
choose.
you why.
I'm gonna choose not to elaborate on this one. They're just wildly underrated.
All right.
All
I
right.
guess we'll have to find out in Discord
So
at a later date.
there was a bit of a story. Once again, I mean, believe it or not, alcohol is involved. And we were watching. My Name is Earl, and
Overrated.
What?
the brother, I forget the guy's name, played by Ethan Suplee.
Yep.
Oh yeah, the
Randy.
kid.
That's the one. He was trying to control his dream so that way he could meet Earl in his dream or something like that. I forget what it is. It's been like 20 years. And then when they woke up, Earl asked him, like, did we get together? Did we hang out in the dream? And he's like, no, I just had the same dream about that I was a tugboat again. And then I thought this was a threat, but I said, I wish I was a tugboat. I'd tug everyone. And then immediately realized how non-threatening that was. And 20 years later, we're talking about it on a podcast.
You fucking tugger, you. That's
Oh no, it's easily there were so many other ones, Steve, I could have put in there.
Yeah, like this
But I
couch is sex for my ass.
the couch is sex from my ass. I wish they made hot tea but cold. No, I wish they made cold tea but hot is what you said too.
Iced
Like
tea.
there's so many of them, yeah. Oh, the sex from my ass one was pretty good too, though. But like,
It was a
yeah,
good couch.
it was actually I almost bought that couch later, but I thought I'd throw tugboats in there, and I really don't think Keith saw that joke coming. Because yeah, I wish I was a tugboat. I'd tug everybody. Okay, I have a couple. um, so unpaid or underrated. Seeing Moose without Sandy. How'd that go?
Oh, that was fantastic for me.
Yeah, that
It
was a
was
good time.
definitely unpaid for her. Driving down the highway on the way back from the Lift Hard, Live Easy, and it's just like, oh my God, that's a weird looking horse. Holy crap, that's not a horse at all.
Yeah.
It was just a couple of moose just hanging out at the side of the highway.
Oh, I thought you were talking about fucking Mitchell Hooper for a second because I assumed you saw him at the
Nope.
Arnold or something. So you're talking like seeing a moose or seeing
Oh, there's a reason
mooses.
why my big cat is named Moose.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
moose are my wife's favorite animal.
Okay.
And it's been like her life's obsession and her life's goal. Like we drove 2 weeks through the East Coast, like trying to like driving at dusk, like basically risking my life so she could see a damn moose.
It never
And then
happened.
here we are just driving home, like, and there's like a couple of them sitting on the side of the highway when she's not there. So of
I,
course we pulled over and took pictures and sent them to her, and
and
that's
that and then there's one level to that that I think is one of the funniest stories that me and Steve have about the Lift Hard Live Easy is what your cats did while we were watching Moose cross the road. Do you want to tell her or do you want me to tell that?
yeah. So my cats have what's kind of like the equivalent of a hamster wheel, but for cats. So this thing is like a basically a 5 foot, 5 foot circle, or I guess
It's a circle. It's a hamster wheel. Yeah, it's
It's
a
a cat.
yeah,
spinning wheel.
five
Yeah,
five
yeah,
foot diameter like hamster wheel.
yeah. We've
So
seen him.
one of my cats decided that that's a reasonable place to throw up is on this thing.
Uh,
And then one of the other cats was like, "Hey, I'm gonna go for a run." And yeah, that went about as well as you would expect. It made one hell of a mess, and apparently Sandy was having a much less good time than us. She had to go and clean all that.
Oh God, cats are the worst sometimes.
So Sandy says,
It's pretty amazing hearing her swearing and everything over text to speech on Android Auto.
so she's texted just fucking mad. She said, these cats are vomiting and it's everywhere. And then she goes, did you see a moose without me? And I got to tell you, Steve's response was, no, we saw two. And that is the best.
Yeah, it was a mother and a calf
That's funny.
just hanging out on the side of the highway, like doing their thing.
Well, I'm glad they weren't roadkill like all the other fucking things you guys saw when you're driving back.
Those would probably cause people.
Yeah, that would take out cars before. Yeah. No, and yeah, that's a good point to bring that up. Is yeah, me and Steve saw a lot of dead
Yeah,
deer.
that's why I had mentioned it.
I'm just saying, like the one time then where Sandy and I do see a moose, it'll probably be late on the side of the highway.
Oh, that'll be sad.
I know. Same with Morgan. Morgan is convinced that fox don't actually exist because she's never seen a fox in real life, except for one dead one. She's like, no, you guys are fucking with me. These
It is
don't
kind of
actually exist.
ridiculous because I mean I used to see them weekly when I was working in
Yeah.
golf, which is means nothing to anybody listening to this probably.
No, they live out here. Like I see them all the time. But okay, so unpaid or underrated, crunchy snow.
Yeah, pretty unpaid. That can kick rocks for sure.
All right. So, okay. Do you want to expand just how much you hate crunchy snow, or just Steve hates crunchy snow?
I just don't like crunchy snow. Like when it gets to like a certain temperature and the snow becomes like crunchy, like when it's fresh and everything's good and Or even if it's like packing snow, no problem. I'll walk all over it. But it's just kind of like nails on chalkboard to me when it's like crunchy and you step on it. It's just I don't know, it ain't right.
He's a weird
I
kind of
gotta calm down before I get all wound up here, but I'm not.
No, but no, and the part of that thing is you're not wrong. Like I've heard there are so many people that feel that way about that sound. That sound is grating to so many
It's just the
people.
texture and just I don't know. It's just everything about it is just pretty wrong.
All right. I'm actually gonna finish this whole thing of unpaid and
Do it.
underrated. All right. Unpaid or underrated face pulls.
Pretty underrated, I think. I don't know. I know they're not for everyone, but they just feel good for me. I did some today with a rope, but sometimes I like to do them with the longer rope with the handles. And I think where people get into trouble is when they start loading up the weight and try to actually make it a strength exercise, where it's like, no, it's just a way to
No, very
have a little bit of resistance to get a bit of a stretch and to kind of rehab some nagging issues. And I'm just a big fan of it for that. I could do them in pretty much every workout.
All right. Let's go two more. Two more, Steve.
Giddy up.
Unpaid or underrated, a Texas Mickey of Jack Daniels.
See, that's tough.
I don't know what that is at all. That's
It's
like
uh,
flipping
a
a
couple.
Mickey. I don't know.
The Texas Mickey, I think, is what? Is it 3 liters or 2 liters?
it's three. Yeah, it's 3 liters. It's a big fucking giant
You know,
thing of
everything's
whiskey.
bigger in Texas, so
So
it's
like a big
Texas
handle.
Mickey. So if you look at it from a dollar proposition, it's kind of unpaid. But if you look at it in a context of having a few friends together and making it a mission to finish this,
In 48 hours, four of us finished.
already underrated. That being said, I'm going to go unpaid because there's no way I'd have any part of that now.
Oh God, no! No, God, no! You can show me Jack Daniels now, and I'm like, nah, I'm good. Like, I don't want anything to do with that. But at the time, yeah, that
Let
was pretty
alone four,
fucking stupid.
yeah, let alone like 3 people drinking 3 liters of it. It's probably unnecessary.
It
I
happens.
got a quick question about doing stupid shit when we were younger. Did anyone else? We always called it the flaming bottle. So anytime you killed a handle, you'd cap it, so it'd still have all the vapors in it. You'd run it under scalding hot water for like 10 minutes until you basically ran out of water. You take it outside, take the lid off, and light it with a lighter, and it'd shoot like a fucking 10 foot like blue flame up.
Nope.
That's just something we did, and like I remember my buddy did it when he was super drunk once, and like fucking like badly burned his forearms. Like he's still scarred to this day.
No,
But we did that, like I don't know, that was just something we did anytime we'd kill a handle, like when we were like in high school or like the first couple years out of high school, and I still drank regularly. That was just some stupid young
I
kid
did a
bullshit we did.
lot of stupid things when I was younger, and that was not among them.
fire was definitely not one of the things we fucked around with a
No,
lot.
I
That's
don't recommend it. I just it
our
was
livers, our kidneys, our well-being, absolutely. But
My
fire,
ability
no.
to get out of bed in a reasonable time at this age now, without being in pain for the first 45 minutes of the day, those kinds of things.
All right, the last one, and I'm going to tell you this. I ran it by somebody, and they were not pleased because they did not see the humor behind it.
Sounds like my favorite kind.
Yeah, so unpaid or underrated, my brother.
That's it?
Greg.
no.
He
Okay, I
goes,
wasn't sure.
he's like, how's that funny? That's not funny at all. And I was like, it kind of fucking is, dude. Like,
Absolutely underrated.
yeah, absolutely.
He's definitely a good golf buddy. We're about the same, so we always go back and forth about whether he beats me or I beat him. I think I got him on distance, but he's got me on consistency, so there's that. The only thing is, I'd love to work out with him, but he never seems to want to.
He
He
just
likes to
never
stay
shows
home,
up.
so that's fair.
Yep.
But
That's
overall, I'm going underrated for sure.
not one.
Every
Not
time,
one.
every time he's around and I'm around, like we always have fun.
Yeah,
Never
I
have a
love my
problem.
brother. So the running joke is, of course, Steve and I have been friends for fucking years, and then out of the blue, Steve is golfing with my brother. And it's interesting that my brother tried to get me into lifting years ago and I wasn't into it. And now that me and Steve are into it, Greg, my brother, just wants nothing to do with lifting with other people. If you come to his house and lift on his terms, he's in, but he will never come to anybody else's
Doesn't get the
for a lift
camaraderie
party.
aspect of it anymore.
He does, but only at his gym.
Gotcha.
Well, what is Jim?
Yeah, we'll fucking do it live. All right. I think you won unpaid. I think you just survived the
Yes.
most onslaught of
Yeah, that
unpaid and
was.
underrated.
What we go 9, 8, 7.
Yeah, like we
Pretty
went
sure,
all of them.
pretty sure 6 of the 9. I was just confused more than anything.
Mm. A good
Well,
ratio
whatever,
though.
man. You're like my best friend. So like I've definitely had so much more that I wanted to hear about and contribute
Yeah,
and give people a chance to make fun of me for.
that is absolutely fair.
Yeah, they will not make fun of you.
Then that means they don't like me.
I mean, I'll make fun of you for wearing hockey fucking gear to bed, but that's about it. It's probably
That's
all.
a really funny story. Like
Pretty
a
much.
genuinely funny
Even I
For
story.
can
sure.
separate myself from the stupidity and be like, yeah, it's warranted. I deserve it. That's
Uh,
one thing is I don't take myself too serious. Like I do a lot of stupid things and I can separate myself from it and go, yeah, that's pretty funny if it wasn't me.
Now,
Right. So I guess it's funny when it is me.
before we hand the reins over to you, I'm just I it might have been omitted on purpose, and if that's the case, then great. Just don't worry about it. We won't answer it. But did you want to tell anybody, give anyone a backstory of your professional career, or what you do for a living? Is that something you wanted to share at all? A lot of people seem interested in what the other crew do for a living because they can kind of relate to them with that.
Yeah, so after 23 years of working at my last job, which was in automotive cleaning and maintenance, I switched over and kind of changed teams. So now I'm a production supervisor for an automotive parts manufacturer.
Nice.
And it's not anything that I think anyone will find too exciting, except that we do a lot of e-coding. So it'd be nice to,
A lot of what?
e-coding.
Okay.
I don't
Oh,
know. I don't know if we have the same high tech operation as our friends down there
it
making
wrote.
plates, but
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. So what are you e-coding on the vehicle? Like
so car parts
parts?
we do like skid plates or just like
Okay.
any kind of structural components.
Now, what's the difference between e-coating and like a ceramic Cerakote or something like e-coating? It's more of like that's almost just like a plating, isn't it? Or what is
Yeah,
actually?
it's almost like a magnetic plating. I guess it would be kind of similar to chroming, I would imagine.
Okay.
I'm sure there's somebody who knows about that stuff more than me who's
Or
probably
like or
yelling at their
zinc or whatever.
device right now. But no, it just uses like it's like a multi-tank dipping stage. I'm not even 100% familiar with it. I'm more just
Hmm.
dealing with the production side of things. We have
Gotcha.
tanks for that stuff, but parts go in raw and they come out black, so I can tell you
There you go.
that.
Well, that's cool. That's so yeah. So you worked for the same place for 23 years, or just in the same industry prior to that?
Same place. And then I
That's
just kind of had an opportunity come up recently, and I got asked to come down and interview for a position that was becoming available. And I thought, okay, why not go down and take a look?
yeah, can't
And
hurt.
the interview went great. So
There you
it was probably, yeah, it was kind of, I'm sure there's not too many people who have their first job interview at 40.
go. Oh wow! So you did that's great. So, okay, so the first job you had, you just kind of it was like, hey, this is my buddy. He's gonna start today, kind of thing. You didn't actually
Yeah,
interview
like
for the.
the plant manager at the time, I was like when I was growing up, I was babysitting his kids, and then he
Hmm.
knew I was looking for a job. He said, "Hey, you want to come down here?" And I thought, "Sure, why not?"
That
And
is kind of crazy.
figured that'd be a good evening and weekends job, to keep me busy for a little bit. And a quarter century later, I decided to finally move.
Wow, that's 40 the first time you get a job interview. That's an impressive stat. Like we don't, that's like I'm trying to wrap my head around that. Like that's I don't know. I've probably been on 20 job interviews all time. Like that's including like bullshit job interviews when I was like in high school and stuff. But like as an adult, I've probably only been on like 6 job interviews maybe.
Yeah, I've been called for a few that I applied for some, and some I just didn't bother going to, or I don't know, whatever. Like there's a few things where I backed out, but
Yeah.
pretty much, yeah, 40 years old, first job interview.
Nice. Well,
I have a
you got
100% success ratio, so I got that going for me.
well as a man who has a plethora of interview experience, we're going to hand it over to you and let you interview us for a second. If you get anything you want to ask us or any questions or games or whatever.
This one's going to be a little bit short, but let me start off by this. This might annoy you, but I don't care. So Keith,
Yeah, buddy.
what are you doing March 2nd?
March 2nd. March 2nd. I don't know. Let me break out my cat. Is there a Joey? Is there something I should know? I don't
No, I already know what's going on there.
Yeah, you should meet your buddies Joey and Steve at in Buffalo, and we should drive down to the Arnold. We already have a hotel room booked. And
Oh, the Arnold, yeah.
you're
Fuck.
talking about how it would cost you too much. It's already booked,
Oh God, I don't know. We'll see. That's a big maybe.
so it doesn't have to be expensive. I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
Obviously, we don't expect an answer today, but I just thought, hey, you know what?
Oh, I gotta figure that one out. My biggest concern is
We're,
just like the
we're going
hotel.
Saturday and coming home Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not doing that bullshit that we did last year where it was like
Mhm.
3 days and no, we're gonna
I
6
don't think
a.m. Steve's gonna either pick me up or I'm gonna pick Steve up. We're gonna drive down to Ohio. We're gonna be there for
I checked it out. It would take 42 minutes more to go to Buffalo, and it's worth it.
yeah,
We'll
yeah.
see. I'm kind of nervous about the whole being there Saturday thing because everyone's talking this one up that it's going to be more like it was in like 19 and 18 where it was just
Great.
fucking what
Do you
that's
know how cool that is?
oh God, like
Do you know how much you
You don't have to
miss?
be
I
full deep in everything. You can just
yeah.
hang out at the Massonomics area and then go to the bar afterwards and then go home the next morning.
We'll see.
Anyway, don't want to pressure you. It just is what it is.
I
So
mean, I've never been asked that question from someone sitting in my own basement though. That was kind of weird. So for anyone that's like, we obviously don't put this out on Zoom, but I'll post a screenshot of it. But Steve took a very like literally like a 3 day ago picture of my basement because it's got the Lift Hard Live Easy poster in the back, so I know it's a fresh picture, and is using that as his background on the Zoom call. And it's just been I basically just been staring at my York Roundheads that I have a complete set of that Tanner doesn't. That's just my beautiful York Roundheads and that just beautiful pristine gym. So I've
Gene.
really, yeah, my gym, yeah, big gym. I've enjoyed looking at that. So if I ever sounded distracted, it's because I'm like I've never looked back at my gym for fucking 2 hours.
and I will ask you this. So this is for Keith again, because I pretty much know a lot about Joey. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
Joey who? Joey
what's
Schmoey.
maybe this has come up and I just missed it, but what's your weightlifting origin story?
Oh, let's see. So, I mean, I played football in high school, but I think I went to the weight room like fucking like 20 times over the course of like my high school career. So I don't even really count that because I was poor. So for me to actually like have a job and like drive to school, I have to have a car. I had to have a job. If you have a job, making it to the weight room and shit was just like less likely for me. I know other guys did it. I just didn't make it a priority to go to the weight room in high school. So, uh, probably late 20s, early 30s. So like 2013 ish, we joined a gym, like a commercial gym, did that deal for a few years, like spent way too many thousands of dollars for a fucking personal trainer for like a year and a half, 2 years probably. Even followed him from LA Fitness to a little smaller boutique gym that he went to train out of, and then even to another one. And then at that last one, he got into there was another one of the some of the other trainers there were putting on a mock powerlifting meet. So the guy that was running that, I ended up like becoming buddies with and started training in his garage gym periodically and just like understanding and knowing what powerlifting was. And at that time, my job had changed where I had a lot of free time to little amount of free time. So having the ability to, yes, Joey's waving at me. Oh, he's just
Nope,
trying to
nope. No,
block his
I was
fingers.
saying something.
Um, So we're just finding that powerlifting was just easier and less time consuming than trying to go to a commercial gym and get all those training sessions in and like, figuring all that out. So
Yeah, it can be tough to do powerlifting in like a commercial gym setting.
yeah. So then that kind of segued into the home gym aspect of like, all right, well, I'm literally at this point, I'm just squat benching and deadlifting once a week and maybe doing like shoulders on another day or something. So like, what can I do in my basement? And at that time, I just had like, the same sand weights and the 1 inch bar and the really dangerous bench press everyone had. Like, I think I had that for like years and never really used it.
Gray Weeder.
Yeah, started using that for a little bit, and then got a really good deal on a squat rack from Titan, and then got my first Olympic bar and first Olympic plates, and then all just kind of snowballed from there. But just, yeah,
It's like I was saying to Joey a couple of weeks ago there. I was like, if my kids start taking things seriously, like I can be pretty minimalist and be happy. But if they start taking things seriously and they get good, like I told Joey, I'm like, I'm going to go full Keith.
nice,
The house with a
nice.
bigger basement and I'm going to go ape shit.
Yeah, and that's and
Well,
everyone looks at my basement now and just thinks that I did that like 10 years ago and just like dropped like 30 grand on it. I'm like, no, that's like bootstrapped fucking paycheck to pay. Well, not I wouldn't even say paycheck to paycheck because like only like less than 10% of that gym has been paid for out of like communal money, and that was like probably like the startup. Other than that, it's all been like overtime money that I made, side job money that I made, or money I made flipping weights back when that was still something I could do pre-COVID before the market got all fucked up. But it's been a labor of love, and it's been a basically I've built it to as like my friend group would come over, I can kind of be like, all right, well, an extra power rack would be helpful, and like, well, another extra power rack would be helpful because and finding another place for the deadlift, and it's like if I lifted alone, I'd have a completely different gym. Like if I never had the intention of having people over, I'd have like three or four machines, one power rack, and like the dumbbells would probably be the same, but like I would have like a couple different back extension or back row machines from Hammer Strength that I really like, and just like a cable crossover or something stupid like that that just takes up way too much room. But like I just like got 20 barbells and three squat racks, so that's easier to tomorrow I got probably tomorrow I got a lift party and I have no clue if it's going to be 4 people or 14 people. It's going to be somewhere in between there because I've got like 3 or 4 confirmed RSVPs and then like 10 people that just are maybes. So I don't know.
Unfortunately, I have a hockey game tomorrow because one of these days, Joey and I got to get down there and actually
Yeah,
lift.
man.
yeah,
For
it's
sure.
gonna happen. It's actually gonna happen, and it'll be one of those like open invites. We're not gonna tell you we're coming. You're just gonna randomly show up.
Yeah, well, it's pretty much every Sunday. It's just me and my buddy Chris, pretty much, and then but that's kind of early, so you guys. I mean, it's 9:30 start typically.
Nine
And
thirty a.m.
yeah,
Yeah,
well, that's my I do my Sundays to cater when my wife's not home, so I have
that's
a
fair.
limited amount of times where I'm like training, when she's upstairs, basically, because it's like a super obnoxiously loud when we're in the basement. So, but yeah, Friday nights usually like 5 to 8.
Should make that happen in January, Joey.
I'll do my best.
I mean, yeah, I mean at that point we could like just make it the crew one too. We'll like figure out a date before or after the Arnold or something, and see who all could actually make the jaunt.
Sounds good. Or definitely even spring GCC too.
Yeah, yeah, there you go. That's a good one. Because there's technically 4 crew that live in Rochester, 3 that might actually come out, I think, and then Matt Cessny and Buffalo that might make it out depending on the season.
Cool. Been out for mostly for Keith, but also I guess maybe for both of you. So when you were younger versus now, who were your inspirations like in the fitness community or in like the strength training community that you looked up to, and has it really changed? So
I don't
like
know that.
for instance, when I was younger, like Mariusz Pudzianowski was like to me was like awesome. Like yeah, I want to be like that guy. Obviously nobody's like that guy. That guy is that guy, and that's it. But what about
Like
you?
as far as like strength athletes that I like even was registered as a kid, like Magnus for Magnuson on watching like ESPN2 strongman shows in like the late 90s from the early 90s probably because like they always aired shit from like 10 years ago. Watching him just dominate like every show that he ever did, like as a kid, at least the ones that I saw, like Magnus, and being a smaller guy, like I mean, smaller isn't like 6'2", 300, but smaller versus everyone else out there typically.
Yeah,
Watching him dominate World's Strongest Man, so like he's will always be my favorite strongman for that. Versus who I look up to today, like I don't know, like no one really. It's just like it's evolved. Like there's like good lifters, but I don't know. I try not to. I don't really have any quote unquote heroes because then it's like when you meet them, you get let down. So if you just kind of like don't look at anyone, I don't like putting people on a pedestal. So like no one's really special to me, I guess.
I
Hey,
don't really have like for even myself. It's like, do I have like somebody who's like a hero to me right now? No, but I mean, there's a million different sources of inspiration if you're looking for
Yeah.
it. Like like Joey brought up too, like Mitch Hooper, like pretty cool. Like
yeah.
nice to actually have a Canadian that matters and like the world's strongest man scene. Like growing up younger, like we had Hugo Gerard who was always like, you know, pretty strong, but he was always a bridesmaid, like
Mhm.
and same with even JF Caron. Like, yeah, that guy's awesome. Like the guy's traps are bigger than my shoulders, but it's like
To me, I look up to people that if you have a podcast that's lifting adjacent and you've had it going on for more than a couple of years, I put high stock on that. So obviously the boys at Massonomics, and then today even like I listened to Let's Get Stupid. Like I don't think I've ever gotten anything of value from that podcast because there's just two dudes shooting the shit like. But I really enjoy that podcast. Like, there's some episodes that are like, "Wow, this is really fucking boring," and Huck told the same story again and again and again. But like, 90% of the time like it's something, it's a funny and original, and I don't know, I put more stock into people that like can be committed to something like that year in and year out and stay, producing content.
I obviously am new to strength, so I don't know too much stuff. I want to say I love Liver King. I think Liver King is definitely very genuine and is contributing a lot to the culture of lifting and strength. But if I
Yes, I
had
can
to
see
like,
that.
yeah, if I had to exclude that, Arnold is a big one. Obviously, Arnold's a big one. Like the dude is just he's done all of the things. He's done the good things, the bad things, the fuck up things, and now he's trying to just be a better person. And I think that we should be allowing people to do that as long as it's genuine. Mitch Hooper, definitely. Running into him by accident is probably one of the funniest things I think that's ever happened to me. They just just at an event and there he is. Um, who else am I watching?
Almost a shame just how successful he is, because it would have been hilarious if you guys could have got him on here like before the
Actually,
podcast.
I don't want to say too much. I do think there's a chance we'll get him before they do,
Hmm.
just based on how they record and when he's available. From what I understand, I might start. I know he's not Crew, but I think it would be really funny to have him jump on for a second.
I think sometimes it's worth making an exception.
Yeah.
And
Um,
World's Strongest Man, okay, perhaps.
Now, if I'm looking at like body type and fitness type and all of that, there's a couple guys out there that are just strongmen and they're not like they don't have abs. They don't. There's this one dude I started following, Don. Like he dances in his videos, and a lot of people accuse him of having like Down syndrome and shit. But that dude, like that, he can deadlift so fucking much. That's the kind of guy that I'm just like he's making good content, he's having fun, and he's strong as shit. Those are the kind of guys I'm looking for. I look forward to now. Big Mike Van Wyck, obviously, I've brought him up before. He's out of Burlington, I think, and he's a bit of a dick sometimes, but most of the time, I do like his content as well.
Right on.
I think we all should aspire to be like Scance because when I'm 65, I want to be that strong.
No, I'm going Scott's.
Oh,
Scott Dodds.
I gotta say, Stance just reminds me so much of my uncle. It's ridiculous.
Oh, I fucking love Scance. He's a good dude, boys, boys,
Yeah, no, I
boys,
mean,
Boys.
boys.
oh, Stance is awesome. He's just like totally like my Uncle Brian, though. Like,
He is actually. He is. He is a bit like Uncle Brian.
which
Did you have any other questions, Steve?
means nothing to anybody but two of us. So, I think we're kind of getting there. I don't really have a whole lot more.
It's all good, buddy. It don't matter to us. We're whatever you got. No pressure.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty good.
Awesome. Well, it was a fun episode. I had a good time. Yeah, it was kind of 2 weeks in a row where like one of the hosts knew the guest like significantly better and had like a rapport. Obviously, even you guys obviously know each other better than Carp and I do, but Carp and I are like tied to the home gym scene like two peas in a pod. So we kind of had that to rely on last week for just our banter and everything. But no, this was a good episode. I had fun. I'm looking forward to meeting you. If not at the Arnold, well, meeting you after we actually known you. I always say that like you're kind of one of the guys that I met at the Lift Hard Live Easy.
You
But
fucking met.
if I didn't
You
shake your hand
met.
and talk to you in depth, like
It's a whirlwind with 50 people. I mean,
yeah,
it is what it is, right?
like whereas now like there won't even be an icebreaker. It's not even going to be like, hey, buddy, I'm Big Keith. It's just like I'm just going to instantly ask you about if you're fucking packed your hockey, equipment to go to bed in and stuff. Like I'm going to make that joke like the first time I see you in person again. I'm sure of it. So,
And I'll deserve
and I let's see. I think that was the
I
only
just
thing you didn't elaborate on. I was going to ask you about the tugboat again, but you did. We did circle back to that one.
No, the
So
tugboat's very funny, and there
yeah.
are so many other
it.
things.
Perhaps it's a little bit too inside of a joke, but it's all good.
Yeah. No, no, and I had to like be careful about the inside jokes. Like, what can I bring up that we can explain without making either one of us look like absolute trash bags? But there is a fun thing that happened today, and I have to be very careful about. My credit card expired, and I think I'm going to get kicked out of Discord.
Uh-oh.
So, yeah. We'll see if I continue to pay for this, but this might be my last crew event. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Tanner kind of sent me a message like, "Are you sure you want to keep doing this? People aren't a huge fan of you, so like I might have to back off from some of the things. But like if you don't hear from me for a couple weeks, guys, this is my last episode. This is my last episode.
Yep. So tune in next week. It's going to be me, Damager, and Kevin. You know, we're gonna give them a shot to see which one are going to be able to take over the reins for Big Joe here.
I would actually ask that you get Matt and see what he does, because I think Matt is a better replacement for me than anybody.
We've went down that rabbit hole with Matt before. I don't know. He always
He
has
will
one
figure it
bullshit
out
excuse or another.
eventually.
Yeah, that's the best ability in a podcast co-host is availability, because finding like literally like finding two dudes that can marry their schedules together and be available for 2 to 3 hours one day every one day a week, like for eternity. It's like that's a commitment. So if one of us did like legitimately, you know, have an issue and couldn't make it forever, like it would be hard to find a replacement, like a legit, like I don't know what we would do, because like, oh yeah, this guy can fill in for 1 week, and then well, you know, I've got a priority, and I'm like, well, the podcast is the priority, and like if you can't make that, you can't commit to it, and I don't know, that's gonna be hard.
Well,
Yeah, I mean,
we'll see.
even as a guest, it took me about 30 weeks to be available because I work afternoons.
Yep.
Ooh, that's a shitty shift. We should have gotten that.
We'll see if Tanner lets me back in. But like maybe get Bryce, or even Jen Damager. She's probably better than I am at this. So we'll see what happens, guys.
She might have more to say than Chris.
Can't be worse.
Oh, you're a good guy, Chris. Did you see he got, what was that? There was a bird stuck in his fence or some shit that he had to get out. I saw that yesterday.
No, I didn't see that shit.
I think it might have been on her Instagram. I'm on so many Instagrams, and like I don't follow certain, like I'm on, like when I'm on the unpaid one, it's got like a plethora of more people, because like there's just certain people I'm friends with on there that we're not friends with on like personal pages and stuff. So it's like, oh, haven't seen this side of that person yet.
All right, well, where can we find you guys? Let's get this over with. I'm fucking exhausted.
So I'm Big Keith Honeycutt 73 on Instagram. Go follow my Orange Jim, the No Wine Cellar. But more importantly, check out our Instagram, Unpaid and Underrated Podcast, and check out the website, unpaidinternpodcast.com.
And
Big
also
Keith.
check out glazesearch.com. We now have an entire fucking domain for that. So you can check out how Keith has rated movies, TV shows. Are TV shows on there, Keith?
Yes, TV shows are on there. Yes.
Yes.
You rate my videos on the hub?
I mean,
check out stevehub.com.
Inadequate, it would be a rating, I suppose.
Steve, where do we find you, buddy?
Just basically on Instagram. They're at Huck Steve, and sometimes you'll find me on the Discord, usually lurking in the shadows and saying something stupid once in a while, then backing out again for a while.
And I'm still me. I'm still Joey. But beyond that, guys.
All right, boys. We'll see you next Tuesday.